All right, let's run it. Let's run it back.
All right, for the second time around. Welcome to JAMUP number 8. I am Mark. This is Jeff, Lights Out Hughes, MMA superstar, and special guest.
Superstar.
Yeah.
Superstar.
That's what I've been saying now.
Yeah.
With his 0-0 UFC record, he's a superstar.
Yeah.
LFA heavyweight champion of the world.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
fair. Nobody beat you for it.
He's a superstar around here. But,
He's a superstar in my heart.
Thanks.
mine too, man.
But, yeah, so we have a special guest with us from your other podcast.
I'm not that special of a guest. I am. I'm part of the sister podcast, part of the Ohio WrestleCast.
Sister podcast, I like it.
Yeah, sister podcast. I think that's fair.
And
It's a fair
we
statement.
have decided that we needed some more guests on our show.
Yeah, we got Walt here too.
Walt.
And
Walt is a special guest. Look,
he's a guest on every episode anyway.
he's incredibly
He
photogenic.
barks until you get him on this show.
Yes.
Walt knows how to get what he wants. Actually, I think Stitch is over there wanting to get on the show as well.
Yeah, she's locked up because she'll be all over us. But yeah, special guest Jerrod Griffiths, aka Wilbur Whitlock.
Very, very happy to be here with you guys. You know, I've watched the JAMUP podcast, and you guys have a lot of fun talking about other topics besides wrestling. Very happy to be here. Let's shoot the shit. Let's talk some.
Thanks for coming in.
Let's have some fun tonight, guys.
All right.
Walt,
Yeah,
get
dude,
away
for
from
sure.
my beer.
Walt, none for you, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Is he of age?
No, definitely not.
See, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to have PETA or the sheriff's department or whomever coming after me for this dog drinking underage. I
No.
don't want that.
He'll be 4 in January, so he's definitely underage.
Oh, I thought he was
know.
way older than that.
Well,
No.
dog years is 7, so 3 makes him of age in dog years.
Does he?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get him
Okay,
drunk.
I wasn't sure
Let's
what
get
the,
Walt
I don't know if
drunk.
it was 5 or 7.
So, yeah, the new task's getting Walt drunk because he's overdue
You're right.
for his 21st.
No, not Walt. No, my little boy. But yeah,
So,
welcome to the show, guys.
I see the first thing on our agenda is Mark finished Red Dead.
I did finish Red Dead, and the story's so good, dude. It's so good.
It is very good.
Right.
Did it end like you thought it would?
Kinda. I thought, for some reason, I was under the assumption that he dies of tuberculosis, but he doesn't actually die of tuberculosis.
Wait, is this a sequel to the Oregon Trail?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it has any.
Here we go.
Okay, all right. Do you want me on this show or not? Okay.
We should have started with something
So
else
are
because
they riding a horse? Do they die of disease?
Yes.
So it is a sequel to the Oregon
Yeah.
Trail.
Well, he dies of 2 people die of the disease in the game for
Scarlet
sure.
Fever and a snake bite. It's the Oregon Trail 2.
Oh
Okay,
my
I get
God.
it. I dig it.
Nobody
I like it.
plays the Oregon Trail.
It takes
Not with
place
that
in
attitude.
the same time period, so I guess it's kind of like Oregon Trail, but no.
So we've kind of went back to that quite a few times with the Red Dead
Yep.
talk. So we won't really.
This will be the wrap up.
This will definitely be the wrap up of it. I really enjoyed the game. I told you that. I finished it before you. I played a couple other games I thought were better this year, but what was your take on it? Because you don't play as many as I do.
Well, I haven't played Spider-Man, and I haven't played God of War. I think I've only played one God of War game, and I couldn't even tell you which one it was, but it was probably back in like 2007 or 8
I'll
or
say
some
if
shit.
it was 3, it was the right choice.
3 is awesome.
It might have been. I don't know how many there are now, but it was quite a
It
few years
was 7,
ago.
it might have been 2, because that was right before 3.
Yeah, 2 was good. 2 and 3. 3 was, besides this last one, 3 was the best. 3 might have been the best PS3 game ever made.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not a far stretch.
Yeah.
And we could have a discussion, which could be fun to do on the podcast, but if you threw that there as the best game ever, it gets consideration.
Yeah, for
There's-
sure.
Yeah.
For that, it's between that and Last of Us for me.
Yeah. I've never played Last of Us either, but a lot of people tell me I should, and
Yes.
I love it.
It's another game that is very, the story, very good, just like Red Dead. And you ever play Last of Us?
Oh, I love The Last of Us. By saying Last of Us, I would make an argument for Uncharted 2, One of the best games too. Same developer.
Naughty Dog.
Yeah, with Naughty Dog.
That's
and
another one I
for
think I'd probably like a lot. The Uncharted game.
For the time, what jumped out at you? I mean, Uncharted 2 was amazing.
It was.
The new
It
one
really
looks pretty fucking awesome too.
The last one they did, the number
I don't
4.
know. I just know that I watched the Game Awards or whatever that was on like last week, and they showed something
I'm
about
playing
it.
4 currently, actually.
4 is very
Yeah,
good.
I'm playing 4 currently.
There's a
5,
couple.
the newest one.
I'm not sure if they're doing a 5 or not. They
Really?
might be. I don't
Okay,
know.
all right.
I don't want to give anything away, but the I thought the 4th was going to be the last one they did.
Really?
Maybe they recycle characters or something. I'm not sure, but
They should make a fucking movie or something.
that'd be one
Well,
worth watching.
the game plays out as a movie. We're going to talk video games all day, and Jeff knows this about me. I'm not a guy that gets into video games because of, it has a great storyline. I want to play the game because I enjoy the game, and that's Metal Gear will be something we could talk about all day, because Metal Gear developed a great story about it. I got to the point, Metal Gear 2 was a game that I played on the PS2, where there was, a 10-minute cutscene, and I'm out. I'm done, man. I'm like, I don't want this shit. I do not want to watch 10 minutes of a storyline. I want to play the game. I enjoy a good story. Now that The Last of Us is an incredible story, and it plays well, and I think Uncharted does a good job of doing that line too. They'll give you maybe a 2-minute cutscene, and you get back into the game. So I think Naughty Dog does a really good job of giving you a good story without taking you out of the experience of, no, I want to play the game.
Right. I agree with what you're saying. With the 10-minute cutscenes can be too much, and I'm a Metal Gear fan.
was a lot.
Metal
It's a
Gear
lot.
2, Metal Gear 3, and 4. I love 4. That's one of my top games as well. But yeah, I can see if you are not into the cutscenes, then those games are definitely not for you. I am into those games, and sometimes they can be a lot for me.
So if you had already played and beaten the Metal Gears, and then you go back through it where you actually know the story, you would be like, oh, there we go again. Like you know it's a lot coming.
Right.
And now I don't know if the Metal Gears play out whether there's any difference in the finish of the game or not. I have no idea. I know Heavy Rain, of course, had like a lot of different alternate
Yeah, but you were
endings.
into Heavy Rain?
Love Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
But that was a very storyline-driven game, but it was storylines based on your decisions in the game. That's cool. That's a different...
Man, that's another PS3 game that was just out of this world. PS3 might have been a lot better.
Did you play
than
Indigo Prophecy?
I remember watching you guys play
at Brookfield.
it. Yeah.
I think Reynolds had it. Yeah. Do you remember that game at all, Mark?
I don't. I never played that
I
game.
think Indigo Prophecy was the same developer, the same storyline writer as Heavy Rain, and it was one of those games where it was if you do this, something else will happen, and if you do this, something else will happen. There's like 32 different branches of what your story could be when you play the game.
That's cool. So it was like a choose your own adventure book almost.
But yeah, exactly.
I used to love those books.
Yeah. Choose your own adventure book, but you play it out through video game mode.
Kind of like a Telltale game.
I like those Telltale games.
Me too.
I really do. I play.
Are those the point and click ones?
Not
there's
really.
point and click. And there's a little bit of action where you got to time it,
I
etc.
know Walking Dead did one that I think Josh
The
I
really
hear the
liked.
Walking Dead
Thrones
one's
one.
great, and the Game of Thrones one is good too.
I played the first season of it or whatever for free on PlayStation Network or something when I still had PlayStation Plus.
They give
it
you
wasn't
those
bad.
teasers, which is the right thing to do. They give you the first chapter.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
You dig it, and you're like, oh, because they're.
Yeah, it was the first chapter.
You're
wasn't
not
the
going to
first
play a Walking Dead one unless you watch a show, and you're not going to play the Game of Thrones one unless you
know
watch
what-
the show.
Especially because the Game of Thrones one and the Walking Dead one it's all different characters, like little side stories of like other characters in that world. And shit.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones one's based themselves around characters that don't exist, but I've played it 3 different times, and ultimately Ramsay stabs a kid no matter what. Which I love Ramsay in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
That's your favorite character, is it not?
So
he's hard not to love.
So that game at least starts you, again. This is the first chapter. It starts you out the same way every time. And then if you play as you go along, where they want you to buy the game, it will change accordingly.
Gotcha.
It's smart business. It really is.
Yeah.
You get into it. Enjoy the first chapter they give you for free, and then you play the game accordingly, and you choose your own path. That's smart. That's smart gaming.
With Heavy Rain though, did you play it multiple times, or were you? wanting to-
No, I never played it multiple times. I just talked to, I think, you and Josh and Dan Begg and a lot of other people that had finished the game.
So
Everybody had different endings.
yeah. So the first time I played through the one detective with like the crazy technology guy. Okay,
Yeah.
so I didn't do half of what I was supposed to do.
I
with
couldn't
those.
figure out any of his shit.
It really took some time to you had to take your time with it. So the first time I went through, his story was absolutely trash. Like I had no point of it, and I believe I figured it out with the father. I think his name was Ethan. I think that was his name.
Yeah. Ethan was the father, and then there's the two boys. So I can't remember their names there.
Sean and something else. But anyways, then I went back and replayed it and made sure I did everything pretty much 100%, and it was the best ending by far.
Yeah, they have different endings where they set the apartment on fire, and you can, like, Josh was like, you didn't go in the fridge? I was like, I didn't know you go in the fridge. Like, I mean, there's different things you can do the whole time.
Yep. That was I wish they made more games like that. They did Beyond Two Souls, which was very similar.
Where you could determine how good or evil you were.
Yeah. And
which Fable was a game just like that too. It was an original game. Where
I never played Fable.
I played Fable and Fable 2, where like if you accidentally kicked a chicken as you're walking away, it would like make you a little bit more evil.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that game wasn't even like a choose A or B. It was just every single thing you did either made you a good guy or a bad guy, and the characters reacted around you.
See, that's something I'd probably like now
it
more
was
now than
a
I would when I
cool
was
game,
at that
man.
point.
Fable is a really cool game.
Well, the weird thing is, man, is you're talking about how cool that game is, and like Red Dead 2 is very much like that game. Like everything you do in that game affects the world
Right.
around you.
I can't give you an honest, opinion or analysis of Red Dead 2. I could talk about Red Dead 1, where I got tired of riding my goddamn horse around the mountains.
Oh, this is incredibly like everything I hated about Red Dead 1, and I loved Red Dead 1, seems to be not in this game. Even the riding everywhere for long distances, there's a way to get around that. Like you can there's something you can do that can just autopilot.
Because there would be side missions where it'd be like, you need to find this, and it's at this location. You had to ride your damn horse through the mountains to find this.
But you still got to do that to a certain extent, but like they've made it much smoother for you. And
They've
easier
made
for
fast travel available too, which is very convenient.
Yeah,
you. You
I
could do that in the other one too, but you had to do it from a campsite.
I thought Red Dead 1 was a good game by all means. The narrative and everything like that, the storyline was a good game, but at the same time there was a lot of really monotonous kind of in between.
Yeah.
And I've also heard from other people that have played Red Dead 2 where they said the game looks phenomenal. Like it's
so
it's out of this world.
They give you a camera at some point, and you use it on a certain mission. Like you have to go and find all these old gunslingers and take pictures of them for a guy that's writing a book. And dude, my camera, they keep telling me to delete pictures from my camera roll on there because I take pictures of everything. Look at this waterfall. Look at this view. I take pictures of everything, dude. And I'll probably never look at those pictures again, but like, I don't know. It is a very beautiful game. But I forgot what my whole point was bringing that back up. But yeah. I'm surprised you don't like that game and you talk too much shit about it.
No, it's not even that I
all the things
don't
you're
like
saying.
it. It was I didn't want to finish it. I probably had 20, 25 hours invested in it, and I knew that I wasn't anywhere close to getting anywhere in it.
Gotcha.
And then when you go and pick it back up and you go, I don't have 3 hours to invest today. And it kind of almost disheartens you where you're like, I don't have 3 hours, so I'm just not even going to play it.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on the game. That's just who I am as a gamer. Sometimes a linear game, it's more up somebody's alley where I need to go from point A to point B.
like an Uncharted where
Uncharted
there's nowhere to go
like
but
you
point A
go
to
off that
point B.
beaten path and maybe find a little treasure or something,
But it's not much.
It doesn't really matter.
You're right.
Yeah.
And Uncharted does. It goes from point A to point B to point C, and it might be a little bit. It's a challenge to find point C, but that's part of the game.
I feel like the maps
okay
are
with
so
that.
big that they made it feel like an open world without making it open world.
That's Red Dead.
No,
That's
Uncharted and like Last of Us, they did a good job of feeling like everything is different, where you're not, nothing looks the same, or like there's like in Last of Us, there's different seasons, and you're literally your journey across America, right? So Pittsburgh looked different than when you were in the middle of nowhere in the woods and stuff like that. So the surroundings change, but like you can't You can't say I went here. Oh shit! I'm gonna go an hour back just to see what's going on, like because it would stop you and there'd be different.
Okay.
So it was a point A to point B, but it still felt like a big game. Is what I guess I'm getting at.
No, it's kind of like a weird hybrid of a bunch of different games.
Yeah.
Like I'm just an RPG guy, and they made this Red Dead even more RPG like than the last one. So I dove right in, and I'm the kind of guy who I only like certain games. Like I'll buy a new game every few years and just play the fuck out of that game.
Uncharted is something that most games don't do, where they even like make it so you can't go back.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of games are just like, well, it doesn't even make sense to go back. But Uncharted makes it you can't go back. They'll lift the damn boulder and then it collapses behind you where you can't go back.
Yeah.
And you just know that
There's
whatever you're going to do, you're going to go out the other side.
Yeah.
If you put yourself in a real world situation where you're like, how the hell am I going to get out of this? You're always going to get out of it. There's always going to be climbing and getting your way out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas RPGs, you always go back. Zeldas, you can go anywhere you want. Even the Resident Evils, you always can go back. Where you're just
Backtrack
like,
a lot.
did I miss something? Or like maybe you don't pick up the herb here because you know you could use it later.
Yep.
That stuff makes sense. Uncharted does not do that. Once you go, you're gone. It's done. It's done. If you miss that treasure, it's whatever. It's gone.
It's gone. Yep.
Yeah.
That I do like those games a lot, but I'm happy you did bring up Resident Evil because in 1 month, almost to the day,
Who's calling off work?
I already am.
Dude, I think I had Resident Evil 2 for
That's
PlayStation.
You're in business,
Yeah.
friend. You should
And,
call off work as well.
I played the hell out of it until I got to a certain point where I couldn't figure out what to do, and I was so damn frustrated.
You should have been hanging out with us and Josh and AJ Leisure, right?
I
Yeah.
should have.
We played more of 3 though.
3 was one we all played together. No, but we played 2.
We did. We played
We
2.
played up in the bus.
We played. Yep.
I can't remember which one it was, but I know
I
it
believe
was
you
for
had 2.
PlayStation, and it was like 4 discs. It was
Yeah.
like one of those big 4 disc.
2 was at least 2 discs. So yeah, it was the thick.
Hey,
It might have
I
been
believe
2.
he had 2
But I believe it was 2.
because I remember him getting it and being like really happy he got it.
Yeah.
And wondering if you played number 1, and like a lot of people can go back and play number 1 even if they really love number 2 and be like, this game is fucking terrible because they upgraded a lot
Yeah.
in number
They did.
2. But I love number 1 just because it's such like a cult classic and that's what we grew up on playing. You know,
Yeah.
it was the first thing I played.
1 will always be what you know, even more so than 2. And if 2 is better, and 2 is amazing. It's so good.
Yes.
I just remember the loading screens were like doors opening and closing, and they were almost always the most like rickety, noisiest doors. They're like,
Yep.
Well,
and they went on for like 30
You
seconds.
know what even
sometimes.
1 did and 2 did it after that, but 1 was like I'm going to open this door and I know I'm fine until you're not. Until
Yeah.
they redid it, then they'd have the hunters and stuff and like,
Yep.
where did this guy come from? And then 2 did it as well. You thought you'd be safe. Every time you're like, no, this part's cool. I know where I'm going.
No music. We're good to go.
You don't, man. Like you go in there with your, I need to go get ammo, and it's in this room, and it's cool. I'll just go here, and then all of a sudden there's an enemy.
A licker jumps down.
Yeah.
Or crashes through a window.
A liquor?
Liquor,
That's what they're
yeah,
called,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what they're called. Yeah.
Licker?
Yeah.
Like they were
Yeah.
spelled-
They have real long tongues. They look
Okay.
like venom.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the big wide jaws and the lots of sharp teeth.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
look just like venom.
next
some
month, Resident Evil
copyright
2 gets
infringement.
remastered, redone.
And have you watched any like gameplay videos?
I have, and it's terrifying.
Oh my god, it's a different game. Completely. I think it's going to be
The remake of
unbelievable.
1 was really cool.
Yeah, it was
They
really-
did a great job of it.
They did a lot of the same stuff in 1, but they also changed a lot too. So I hope there's still that balance because but I think there's going to be less that we're comfortable with in this new one.
And they added a little more in 1, and then like I finally the first time I've ever done this was actually beat 1 with Chris was on the remake.
Yes.
I've never done it before. It's hard.
Oh, it's super hard.
Jill is way easier in 1. Everybody knows that. So with 2, I don't know, man. Like I'm kind of excited to see if they.
Well, in like the original PS1 version of 2, it was pretty close to the same story. They had Leon Scenario A and Claire Scenario A, and then if you beat that, you got Scenario B, which was a completely different game.
Yeah.
This time around, they're not doing that. They're just doing Leon's own story and Claire's own story. So,
They're probably going to add a little bit.
I
to this
imagine.
one, yeah.
But I think from what I gathered, when you're Claire, I don't think you're going after Willie. I think you're going after the tyrant that they drop. I could be wrong. I don't know, but it just looked awesome.
That would be an interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be all new. It's gonna be. I'm taking off that whole weekend. Don't bother me, anybody.
I think it's
I'm
awesome.
not gonna bother you to sit there and play the game with you. We already talked about it. I said I don't want to be the guy going in the sewers with the spiders anymore. I don't want to do it. Tired of it.
Nope. So yeah, I can't wait for that.
Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out the week after. I don't know if you guys are Kingdom Hearts guys.
I bought the HD versions of them, and I played the first one, but I don't know. I just never got into them.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are Kingdom Hearts guys or not. It's a weird mix of Disney and Final Fantasy that somehow merges and makes a really good game.
Yeah. I played one for DS. I couldn't tell you which one it was, and it was enjoyable, but I don't think I played any more after that.
3, which 1 came out well over probably 15 years ago,
Yeah.
I think. 1 and 2 were PS2 games. There's been so many of the 2.0 or 2.0 whatevers and the remixes and all this. 3 is finally coming out a week after, I think.
Yeah, it's
Resident Evil.
a following week.
Both late January, yeah. It's an exciting month for video games.
Oh, I know. I can't believe it's finally here though.
Here, I'll steer the topic. I don't mind doing this. So, Red Dead, you enjoy, but you don't think it is Game of the Year. What do you got listed as your Game of the Year last year? Because we're here middle of December. We can just call it.
Yeah, we're done with I'm so torn because I loved the new God of War so much and I couldn't put it down. But I want to say Spider-Man was the Game of the Year.
I gotta play it. Josh 100%ed it. I seen his trophies. I was like, "So you like that game a little bit, did you?" He's like, "Yes." Yeah,
I 100%ed it too. Yeah, it was the type of game. I felt like I was like 12 years old again, where you're staying up so late, your eyes are burning, but you can't put the game down. You're like, all right, one more mission, and then I'm done. I'm going to sleep. You get done with that mission, you're like, fuck it, just let's do this side quest real quick. Before you know it, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You're like, oh shit, I gotta wake up to go to work.
See, that's how it was with Red Dead. That's how it was. Like, I made time to play that game. Like, I made time for it, and that's pretty much how I feel about Red Dead. For me, Red Dead would be Game of the Year, but I didn't play those other games, so I wouldn't know.
We gotta both play Spider-Man at the same time then.
I think Spider-Man's gonna be the next one I tackle. I think I'm gonna get this isn't anywhere close to Game of the Year, but I think I'm gonna get 2K18 for WWE as well, just because everybody talks about it. It's much better than the last
The
3 or 4
the
games.
19 one.
I picked up last year's game a few months ago because it was only like $15-$20 at that point.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a lot of nothing to sink your teeth into. Did it play well? It played great by all means. You know what I mean? But like, you do 4 or 5 matches and you'd be like, I'm okay.
No, I didn't buy. Last one I bought was 17. I didn't buy 18 because I heard it was no better than 17, but I hear 19 is much better. The story mode's a lot better and shit. Some of the game, it's a little bit harder too to win and shit.
No, they're definitely harder nowadays than they used to be. It was you're playing as computer and stuff. It's definitely harder to play.
But Spider-Man, I definitely think I'm gonna get into that one next because I love the Arkham games, and like I said, I think I said in the last one, it's basically just an Arkham game.
Does
of
it play
Spider-Man.
like an Arkham game?
It's
Jeff?
identical to an Arkham game,
Okay.
but they just did everything better. And Arkham, I give Arkham
the
a
game's
9 out of
improved.
10.
Yeah, because Asylum and everything they improved. They're fun games to play. The engine's very good.
Yeah.
But if I had to, if I'm gonna put it down on a list, I would say Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead are my top 3, and then and they are in that order.
Wow. For me, Red Dead story was I love westerns too, but like it was just Arthur Morgan is 1,000 times better than John Marston.
So much better.
And Arthur Morgan is my dude. He might be like my favorite video game character ever now.
I'll just because I didn't pick up to it all. They completely changed the whole story of the narrative. It's still a western, but they changed characters, etc.
It's a prequel of back when the gang was together. All that shit that John talked about in the first one, you're living that.
Okay, so it's enough if you were a big fan of the first game that you can understand a little bit what's happening in the second game.
Exactly.
Okay, it's not a completely different story, but it's new characters.
All kinds of references to the last game and shit too, and Easter eggs and shit. Like even ones I didn't even notice that I had like YouTube informed me of. Like I don't know if you remember did you play the first Red Dead?
Mm-hmm.
You remember a guy in a top hat with a curly mustache. Kind of looked like Trelawney, the guy that was in Red Dead 2.
The one guy, the guy with the top hat in Red Dead 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same guy, but he was in the first one, and he was like Death or something. I don't know who he was, but John like shot him like 3 or 4 times, and nothing happened to him. He just kept walking.
I do remember now that
he's
you say
in
that.
He's in the second game, and it's really fucking creepy. He's not actually in it. It's a picture of him, and you see a picture, like he pops up a couple times just in pictures. And there's this creepy-ass fucking house. And if you take a picture of it with your camera and look at it on the Rockstar Social thing or whatever, it says serial killer for the picture.
Oh, that's cool.
And I don't know if this guy's the serial killer or what, but at one point there's a portrait, right, in this house. And it's like, you can see there's like kind of a landscape background, but then it's just like all black and shitty in the middle. If you keep going back to this house over time, that portrait completes itself. And it's that guy from the first game with the top hat and the mustache. And then there's a mirror in the corner of the room, right? If you place yourself just right and you can see in the mirror, you can see that guy's in the fucking room with you, standing behind you. But when you look to see him, he's not there.
So that's pretty sweet.
It's so fucking cool, dude. Like, having this all happen was really fucking cool.
And you only found out because of the internet, right?
Yeah, I had
So
no idea.
I mean, like, how do you find that shit out?
You would just stumble across. That's how much detail they put into the game. Like, that's not even like that's not even a mission. It just happens.
Kind of like when I sent you those pictures of the man bear pig.
Yeah, man bear pig. Like, and I still want to know where the fuck Gavin is. Who the fuck is Gavin, and where and why? I've looked it up too. Nobody knows why or what he's doing. They don't know if he's in the game, what. But there's like time travel, like theories and shit about it because of a certain mission.
They definitely put a lot of detail and a lot of a lot into that game. Where it could be one of those games that you never find at all.
Yeah. Like, I think I'm 80-some% through it, and I've completed the whole main story. So.
It's a lot of shit.
But I'll get off Red Dead. But I am pissed, and I even wrote it down, that there's no liar's dice in the game. And I love liar's dice from the first game.
No, the gambling was a fun little side quest. That was always...
Yeah.
And it was one of those things, too, where you're like, if you knew you needed a little bit more money to do this, you're like, yeah, we'll go fucking gamble.
Yeah, I'm going to go play blackjack.
But there was a certain outfit you could get where you could cheat. You could cheat at poker and shit. And I would cheat, and I'd rake in the dough for a little while. But, yeah, they kind of skimped out on that. I'm hoping, like, online maybe has more.
Yeah, I haven't played online at all yet.
But, yeah. No liar's dice. What the fuck, Rockstar? Do something about it. I know you listen.
Yeah, Rockstar's a huge follower of this podcast.
For sure. They subscribed. They're one of the ones that don't show that they subscribe.
Well, what else you want to talk about today? We talked video games for a while. Here, with the three of us, we could talk about any topic for a long time. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, here's one that's that he has written down, which I'm happy because I forgot about, and this is a good topic, is Ortiz versus Holloway. Did you watch that?
Ortega?
I'm sorry, Ortega. Oh, yeah. Ortiz.
My
Ortega.
handwriting is terrible.
Man.
I'm looking at it, but I knew it was Ortega. I'm sorry.
I'll throw my input because I'll lead it to you because you can obviously give a much more educated opinion on it. But like Ortega has been so impressive. That guy, like you know when there's a dominant champion, you always like see like that guy where you're like, ooh, that might be the guy. And Ortega has been awesome. And with Holloway, the thing is with Holloway is I remember I think I seen his first fight with like Andre Feely where he was 19 years old, and so we've seen Holloway for such a long time where it's like it's kind of hard to put together what you've seen before and what you see now and realize that Holloway is incredible. He is a dangerous dude because his thing was before where he was a little bit lanky and he could pick you apart, and we watched him fight Aldo a couple times. He picked him apart. Yeah. And I watched that fight against Ortega, and like, you know, Ortega's a tough dude. He was really never in any position to win that fight. You know, Holloway had him. You know, Holloway was in control of the entire fight, and that was the first time where I've watched, and I've probably watched at least half a dozen Holloway fights at this point, where I was like, dude, Holloway is the real deal, man. That kid has. And what's scary is, what is he now, 24, 25, if I'm not mistaken?
I'm thinking he's 25, 26. Yeah.
He's only going to get better still.
Yeah, he's not even in his prime yet.
Going to get better, which is scary, which McGregor beat Holloway in a 3-round decision a few years ago. I think right now if it was a Holloway versus McGregor fight, weight classes with, just saying McGregor can make 45 without issue. I think if we put that fight up right now, I think it'd be like probably 75-25 people favoring Holloway. Like, I think it's just that he's improved so much and his game's improved so much that I don't think there's a whole lot of guys out there right now that can beat him.
At that weight class, no. I don't think there's any. I think what this fight did
Ortega might have been that guy.
I think with Ortega, he could come back and he's never lost before, so you get to really see what a loss does. But Holloway just seemed like he was a step ahead the whole time.
For sure.
And to see what Ortega did against Frankie Edgar, which has always been the top 3, top 4 guy.
Edgar's never an easy battle.
No.
Not against
And
anybody,
he made
not
it
today,
look,
not any day, and Ortega handled him.
He made it look like it was nothing, like he was fighting an amateur. The McGregor thing is really interesting because we know Holloway's gotten a lot better. McGregor, has he gotten better? And McGregor won that fight on a blown ACL, which is unbelievable to me.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he blew his ACL out in the first round.
Shit.
And so that would be definitely a money fight. He'd have to. I don't think at this point in their career, the way Holloway's cardio is and how he has a second gear in that the 4th and 5th round, even the 3rd, he like slow. He does what the Diaz does, but he does it better.
I think so.
It's
accurate. He throws a lot of strikes, and he doesn't slow down, but he's a little bit more accurate about it, and you can't take him down.
Yeah, great takedown.
Yeah, great takedown defense. There's always thing about the Diaz boys is that if you're a very strong, dominant wrestler, you could take him down and do some damage. Not Holloway.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he gets right back up.
Yeah,
he's relentless, dude. Like most of the fight, Ortega couldn't reciprocate because he was just coming at him the whole time. Like, he didn't even have time to really think about what to do. I would think he's getting punched in his. What round do you think his nose got broken? The second round?
End of the second round.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, his nose was broken for 2 more full rounds after that, and he was just getting punched in the nose.
And that's a huge advantage for Holloway. Yeah, once you broke the guy's nose and they're having trouble breathing.
Yep.
And Holloway was a smart enough and a good enough fighter to completely capitalize on it.
And he was, for sure.
But in that 3rd round, it looked like the tide was turning a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Because Holloway was, I don't know if he was getting too confident or what, but in that 3rd round, I think Ortega was starting to find his timing, find his space, and then just like that in the 4th round, he's like, nope, this is my round. Like, he told Joe Rogan, I believe, in the 4th round, he's like, this is my round. Yeah. And he went out, and it looked like a brand new fighter.
He called
What in the fuck, man?
He called that before the fight, too, and I think he even said in his speech, I made a lot of people a lot of money tonight because I probably bet on that.
Right.
Because, I would imagine that just him saying that makes that a bet at some point. Wouldn't that be something?
There's I know Vegas, I don't know if you can do it round, pick what round. I'm sure you can. But I feel like if they start doing that, fighters can start fixing stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
A little bit better. Yeah. You know what I mean?
A lot of room for error.
If they actually know what the odds are 100% and
right.
what they could do to affect it and make themselves more money.
But Holloway was the underdog in this fight.
Was he?
And yeah, he was the underdog on paper, and I think it was almost justified because Ortega's been just mowing down people. And he's been... And Holloway had that scare. I don't know if it was they said he might have had a mini stroke or something before when he was.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, when he was cutting down to fight Khabib.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why they had to get a replacement.
That's why he got pulled out. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then the first Ortega fight, they had to scrap it. I think the day before because he was slurring his words, and Michael Bisping was doing an interview with him you just wake up? What's going on here? And he's coherent, but he's slurring his words like he's drunk almost. So
I didn't know.
There was that scare, but
with that being said, you think is there going to be pressure for Holloway to get out of the 145 division then?
I think he cleaned that division out with that win.
And if there's scare on his weight loss, maybe affect him. Now 155 is cluttered. 155 is probably the most cluttered division.
It's kind of a mess, especially after this last fight.
Iaquinta just beat Kevin Lee, which Iaquinta, if you want to do MMA math, which is not smart for anybody to do, but if you do MMA math, Iaquinta really has a more legitimate claim than McGregor does for the title. If you do MMA math, I say Ferguson, of course, is the top guy.
Yeah, they have to do that fight, even though they've tried to do it 5
fight.
times or 4 times or whatever.
But Iaquinta went 5 rounds with Khabib and didn't do any damage, but he hung in there the whole time. He did better than McGregor did if you put it by the numbers. And he beat a very good fighter in Kevin Lee last night.
Yeah, I've always said Kevin Lee is the future of that division, but
Iaquinta won that fight last night.
Oh yeah, he legit won, and there's no like he did. He went 5 rounds against Khabib and had some good moments in that fight and took it on 1 day's notice.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he was getting ready for it. He was fighting that night regardless, but it was a 3-round fight. And I've done 3-round fights. I've done 5-round fights, and the preparation for a 5-round fight is completely different.
Oh, yeah, understandably so.
I bet.
I mean, it is.
We can only imagine.
You're almost fighting twice. Yeah. So you got to prepare that. So your sparring rounds, you're doing 5 sparring rounds. You're doing.
Sure, yeah. If you're preparing for your fight, it's how can you prepare yourself to go 15 minutes in the cage and then know how do you prepare to go 25 minutes in the cage? That's a whole different thing.
Right.
How you expend your energy, because it doesn't matter how good a cardiovascular shape you're in. You can only expend so much energy in 15 minutes as opposed to 25 minutes. It's real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I completely understand that. If Iaquinta's training for a 15-minute fight, he is not prepared to go out there 25 minutes. He went out there for 25 minutes, survived for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Everyone to put it. It's not the
with
same.
A strong wrestler in Khabib, where it just smothers you. He takes you down, and you wrestled. You understand what it's like. You get taken down at will, or you get laid on. It's just like,
oh sure.
I mean, you can if you had a video game meter. Just every time you get taken down, it wouldn't just drain; it would just drop. You know what I mean? So
it would just disappear.
There's a mental aspect too. There's mentally where you mentally build yourself up, where you're like, I have to get out of here. I have to get out from underneath this guy. There's a mental aspect of it too, where and that's a different thing from 3 or 5 rounds. 3 rounds, you got to win 2 of them. 5 rounds, if I get taken down in the first, maybe I'm a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's got me. I'm going to survive. I'm not going to let him pound me out. I'm not going to let him get the submission. I'm going to conserve my energy. Now, the second round, if he gets on me again, then it's a different story. But there's mindset that's going into it of how you will manage your rounds as you're in there in the cage as opposed to 3 or 5.
So when my first ever 5-round fight was against Dan Spawn, and I injured my leg in the first round, but that's no excuse, because in the second and third round I won those rounds, but my body was so used to. I tried so hard in the third round that by the fourth round I was like, fuck this.
Dan Spawn, who had fought 5-round fights before.
Exactly. So he comes out. And in the fourth round, I just gutted through. I made it. He won that round. And then the 5th round, I was so, not only just gassed, but just so, defeated because my body just didn't want it. I just couldn't do it.
Did you look across the cage and look at a guy who was knew what he was doing in that
exactly
spot?
What he was doing.
He might have known that you didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you are tired and you just... I remember going back between the 3rd and the 4th round. I go, this is the 5th round, right? And they're like, no, this is 4th round. And I just remember going, what?
Wow.
And then going into that 5th round and looking over, and he's looking straight through me like he knew I was toast.
Shit.
And he came out firing. I was done. Now, I took that, and then the next fight I had was against Richard Odoms. I might have lost that first round. I knew that, but I was like, I got him the next 4. Because you
looked across the cage and thought, I got more in me than he does.
Oh yeah, because he was trying to kill me in the first round.
Sure.
And then I look over and I go, I'm here all day, buddy.
And that was probably him and his coach's game plan was this kid's younger, this kid's got a little more energy, let's go take him out. And when he didn't do it, he knew that he had to go 20 more minutes with you.
Yep.
And it wasn't
going into that 5th round. The first thing he does is throw a terrible, hard as he could, telegraph rear leg kick. I checked it. He tried to do it again. I check it again. He crumbles. He falls over, and I go, that's the fight right there, folks.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't getting up after that. So I've been in 3 5-round fights, and they're not fun. I don't want to ever do it again.
You know you probably will, though. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea is, buddy, is that you're going to be in some 5-round fights.
Yeah.
If you're not in 5-round fights, then the
What the hell are you doing?
The UFC career hasn't. Well, I guess I should say that if you're in the 5-round fight, if it's scheduled for 5 rounds, you're doing really well.
Yeah, you're doing well.
Yeah, if you're scheduled for 5 rounds, you're doing really well. You don't have to go there.
It's not so much the fight; it's the training camps that. I mean, you really
have to train for them.
You really learn something about yourself when you're doing those 5-round camps. So, yeah, that's my take on Ortega.
Yeah,
not Ortiz.
You got I thought of a couple more things that happened in between while we were talking about this, but you want to talk about Namajunas and
Thug Rose? That's your girl.
No, I do like.
Are we talking about Joanna and Valentina?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Well, that's why Joanna went up to 25, not to 15, because she can't get her belt back.
Yeah. That was a very one-sided fight, I thought.
Yeah.
Like Joanna didn't really stand a chance at all.
They don't have a lot of girls with established names in those lower weight classes, so Joanna will probably get those opportunities as long as they could. And this is what's unfortunate about Joanna, which I liked her. I was over at your house where she beat was it Carla Esparza?
Oh, she killed her.
She murdered her, and we're like, oh my god, this is a
different female fighter.
And she was, but I mean, I think at this point because Thug Rose didn't murder her, but Thug Rose beat her soundly twice in a row, and Joanna got this next title shot where she got beat soundly, where I think the game's passed her by. Mm-hmm. It just has, and then it's going to happen to everybody, and I think the game's kind of passed her by where they're going to utilize her name as much as they can, especially these lower women's weight classes.
Right.
Yeah.
When there's really only maybe 15 top fighters that belong in that weight class in the world. You got to think like that. Like there's not a whole lot of female fighters, and then in the upper echelon there might only be 5 girls that can truly hang with these champions.
No, for sure.
I mean to fight 5 rounds, you hung with them. That person, because if it was that one-sided, she would have stopped you in the first round.
Yeah, for sure.
But like a Cyborg or something like that. But yeah, you saw it with men's MMA. Now you're seeing it with women's MMA. Like somebody gets on top. Ronda Rousey was on top, and then the wheels fell off because everybody caught up.
Yeah.
They got to keep catching up, and eventually, I mean, I think these women you see it with women's wrestling right now. Some of these women's wrestling matches are better than the guys.
Yeah.
Speaking of women's MMA, how excited are you for the Nunez and Cyborg fight? That's the fight in women's MMA.
It is, but I think Cyborg's on a mower.
You really do?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think Cyborg will mow her on her feet, but I think Nunez is more well-rounded. I think
if she can get that big woman down.
I think Cyborg's scarier.
I think Nunez is the girl that could trade with her long enough to get inside and get her down.
Yeah.
Get inside with a lesbian MMA fighter. Don't take that pun. It wasn't intended.
Cyborg's not a lesbian. Oh, the other one is.
Yeah, and her wife is good too.
Yeah, which one?
I can't remember her name, but she won on that same card, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I didn't realize.
So,
and another one I had is we talked about it before, and I had to make sure I put it the last episode out like 2 hours before the Wilder and Fury fight because I was like, fuck, I gotta put it out before the fight. So maybe we should talk about Wilder and Fury.
That was the best boxing match I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah, I streamed it on Reddit. Don't tell anybody. And
so did I.
I actually streamed it simultaneously on 2 because the person I was watching it with really didn't want to miss a fucking thing. So I made sure that I had 2 going just in case one went out. And it did a couple times. I just kept switching back and forth. But hell of a fight, for sure. Like, I thought Fury had the match won. But when you think about it in reality, like, if it was a real fight, he went down twice.
Yep.
He went down twice. But it being a boxing match, I think it was...
Boxing is a
Fury
work.
Fight.
You think?
Boxing is
the judging is definitely a work, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't doubt
the fight itself isn't
whatsoever.
necessarily a work, but what I still to this day think McGregor and Mayweather was a work, 100%.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
All right.
100%. No, I mean, are the efforts they're putting in and the strikes that they're throwing, is that a work? Absolutely not. They're not working punches, not by any means. But was a
Yeah.
in that fight, and I didn't see Wilder and Fury, and I'll let you guys comment on that later. But McGregor and Mayweather, was it the let's have a nice competitive fight till the mid rounds,
and then let's go.
And then let's go. Was that a work? Absolutely, because there's hundreds of millions of dollars on the line.
I think there's.
And if Mayweather, I mean, if it was hypothetically 100% a shoot where Mayweather's going to pick this guy apart, or let's just say McGregor had the most crazy knockout power there ever was, where it could end in the first, nobody wanted that. The sponsors didn't want that. The pay-per-view companies didn't want that. Nobody wanted that. Everybody wanted that fight to go for a while because everybody wanted to see not necessarily that fight again, but the potential of a fight like that happening again. There was so much money made for both those fighters, those camps, the pay-per-view companies, or the sponsors. So many people made so much money.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and they did it the right way.
We paid $100 for it. I mean, I don't pay $100 for anything, and I was like, well, this is once in a lifetime. I feel like I gotta watch it.
Yeah, I have no doubt that Mayweather and McGregor was milked for all that it could have been. Whether or not it was a work, I think it was a work to a certain degree. I think they both wanted to win, and
right.
I think they were like, "All right, we're gonna make this go. We're gonna put on a show for as long as we can, and then in the end, it's on, motherfucker." And that's probably how it was. I think there's definitely more of a chance that McGregor and Mayweather was a work more than Wilder and Fury.
Here's my biggest issue with boxing, and I'm not huge on boxing. I enjoy it though, especially a big fight like that, like the first Triple G and Alvarez fight. Triple G clearly won. You don't even have to know what boxing is to know, okay, that guy won that fight, but the judges saw it otherwise, so it went to a draw. So there was more money to be made in the rematch.
How do so many draws happen? So many big fights in 15
I don't doubt
rounds.
the corruption at all.
They're 12. But they're now 12 rounds.
12 rounds,
yeah.
okay. But even then,
so
that's just seriously, that's insane math.
Couldn't they just change it to being an odd round again? Like, so instead of doing 12 rounds, we do 11 or 13.
Yeah, of course they could, but then we wouldn't have the rematch.
So instead of having you won 6 rounds, you won 6 rounds. Yeah. Oh, that's a draw. Now it's. Okay, you won 7 rounds, you won 6 rounds, that's it.
They could have a sudden death round if they wanted to, which would be the most exciting fucking thing you've ever seen in one fight.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's not going to get us to order the second fight. I mean, that's what I'm saying, it's a work. And it's kind of obvious it's a work.
Yeah, it's so bad that boxing, guys that are, Teddy Atlas and all these guys that are so in love with boxing are going, I don't want to watch this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Because you want to see a winner, you want to see a loser, and if it so happens it does end in a draw once in a while, like the Fury and Wilder fight, I think if you want to do the round by round, now as a fight as a whole, I would say it's a draw because Fury got off the canvas, he looked like he was dead.
No, you're right. He got up like the Undertaker.
I think that was a work. I think that was a work.
Really?
Because,
I don't know until you see those punches.
No, but here's
that
the
double
here.
punch
No.
there?
Was
Punched
it the when he hits you in this round? Do you do this? No. But what it was if you get knocked down, do this. And do you know why you do that? Because how many millions of dollars did he make that night? Because over 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're multi-million dollars. So it was if he knocks you down, sell it, get up like a fucking babyface comeback, because that's going to get views. That's going to get clicks. That's going to want people to see this and see you. What they're going to remember. If they had the best legitimate back and forth fight ever, it wouldn't get the reviews that highlight did of the eyes in the back of your head. Oh shit, I gotta, fuck you, let's go fight. It's a Rocky movie.
It was the closest thing to a Rocky movie.
And Rocky movies still sell. People talk about it to this day, and that's what I'm saying. Was the idea of in the 7th round when he knocks you down, which I don't know that's the round. When he knocks you down, do this? No, but it was the hey, if you get knocked down, think you can do it? I think that happened. I absolutely think it happened. I think it's to sell it with your eyes fucking closed and get up, and we're going to continue it. I think that happened.
Man, I don't know those punches. I mean, I get what you're saying for sure, but. The first time he got knocked down, it did look like, what the hell, how did he get knocked down off that? And then the 15th or I'm sorry, the 15th, the 12th round when he came out right off the rip and did that, I was like, I cannot believe he lost that fight doing that.
Yeah.
I still don't think it was a draw if you want to do it scorecard wise. If you want to do it round by round, how do you give any other round to Fury? I'm sorry, to Wilder.
Yeah.
Because Fury outboxed him.
Oh yeah.
Every aspect of that fight, he outboxed him.
He
Besides
outclassed
two
the fuck
drops.
out of him. Yeah, for sure.
Because it's a work.
You know what, dude? The more you talk about it, the more I think it might be. The more
Because it is. It's a work.
I don't want it
because
to
there's
be.
going to be a rematch. And a lot
Of course
of
there's going to be a rematch.
Oh,
no
to
doubt.
go see
Yeah.
it. And because on paper, there was a winner. But because there was some knockdowns, because there's some exciting rounds, to the point that put down in anybody's mind, it's going to make everybody want to buy the rematch because there's millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to be made.
Right.
No, you're
Yeah, because
right.
I mean, I don't know how true it is, but Fury donated all of his money.
Yeah, like 8 million.
Yeah, 8 million.
Yeah.
Donated it.
Because he's got 25 coming in the next fight.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're probably
Well, thanks for raining on the boxing people's parade.
Boxing has been crooked since Sonny Liston took a dive against Muhammad Ali.
I believe it.
Ooh.
It has been crooked for so long.
I believe it.
They have just protected kayfabe way better than wrestling has.
No, you're right.
There is a lot of corruption in
And by
boxing.
the way, MMA in the States, legit. MMA in Japan never was.
No.
Really?
There's a
MMA
lot of fixed.
MMA in Japan was ran by the Yakuza.
Oh wow. Okay.
Go back and watch some of those Pride fights, and they're awesome. I'm watching the front row. A bunch of dudes with black suits and pinkies missing, I guarantee.
Pinky's missing.
Yeah, there was legit fights over in Pride, but I'm pretty sure people have come out now and said like there was a lot of, hey, you're going to lose this fight. You know why? Because we said you're going to lose
Because
this
it's
fight.
this fight, and if
Yeah.
you don't want to find out the answer.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, this is all just stories I've heard or read online that, or I've watched videos of, and Pride used to pay you in cash. Like,
Duffel
Really?
bags.
here's a duffel bag full of cash.
What?
Well, you do it at the hotel room that you're staying at. Well, Vanderlei Silva grabbed his duffel bag, go back to his hotel room. There was two Yakuza guys just standing there like, we'll be taking that now. Thank you.
Holy shit.
Yeah, fought for free that night.
What the fuck?
Because he probably did something he wasn't supposed to do. Probably
Wow.
knocked him out in the first round and didn't go to decision or made somebody look bad or said something wrong.
He didn't follow the script, man.
Yeah,
You gotta follow the script, dude.
but Pride was the fucking shit. Dude, I love Pride.
Pride was amazing, and it was ran by the Yakuza. There's a really, if you do
Oh,
any
no
little bit of
idea.
research, it was.
It still is over there because if it wasn't, I mean, it says on their contracts, we do not test for steroids.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How legit is that?
That's not legit whatsoever, I would think.
Yeah, so
That's basically like writing. We're not legit.
yeah,
Right on there.
So, but
Want to take that break at this pizza?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
right time.
But yeah, we're back.
We don't know where we left off last time. We got pizza.
I think we finished off though. We were talking UFC pay per view.
yeah,
and
we're
Wilder
all
and
done
Fury.
with that. Yep.
We're not gonna lie. We stopped. We ate pizza.
Yeah, we got some more beers.
And we got some more topics to talk about now.
Yeah, yeah. Watched Ronda Rousey kick some ass.
We did. We watched the TLC pay per view. Watched Ronda Rousey get the big win against Nia Jax.
We did.
And
Breaking news.
and I didn't hate it like I thought I would.
Yeah, like I said, Ronda gets a little bit better. As time goes
Let's
on.
do a very, very quick sidebar. We won't go into a whole Ohio WrestleCast, but the Ronda Rousey in professional wrestling is an interesting thing because Lesnar was a wrestler first, went to UFC, won the heavyweight title, went back.
Yeah.
Rousey, I mean, she revolutionized women's MMA. She absolutely did. She, to this day, I would say is the biggest star in women's MMA ever.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would
now
agree.
is in the WWE. So when we were just talking about now, you compare her to other wrestlers. Is she as good of a professional wrestler as Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch? No, but her name value adds a lot. So I mean, where do you land on Rousey in the WWE right now, Jeff?
Oh, me? Well,
And then we'll pass the mark. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
Up until this match right now, I was not a fan. I understand the name value, and I agree with everything you said about her. huge MMA star. At one point, I think she was just as big as George St. Pierre and right under Conor McGregor.
I think she's a top 5 MMA star of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
And it's opening up the doors, seeing her in the WWE for other MMA fighters if they want to go that avenue ever in their life. But this match was very good, and I'm not a huge fan of that Nia Jax either. She's kind of a clunky worker. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she's almost 300 pounds. So, yeah, but Ronda Rousey made it really believable tonight, and I was very impressed with her moves, and just everything flowed a lot better than it has in the past.
There's our MMA guy. What do you think, Mark? You're a pro wrestling fan through and through. How do you feel about Rousey and her close to a year now in the WWE?
Well, I agree with pretty much all of what Jeff said. Jeff's kind of starting to warm up to Rousey a little bit, I think. I liked her from her debut match.
Her debut match was awesome. That was a tag match with 2 experienced in-ring workers. And Stephanie, who's experienced, on camera,
her and Kurt Angle.
Life. Yeah.
Yeah, Triple H and Stephanie, yeah. And that was built up for a few years, something that happened prior to WrestleMania when she was still in her prime in UFC. But so I always had really high hopes for her, and I always liked Ronda, even in her UFC days. She got a little whiny there after she lost a little bit, but I got it.
Face pounded in.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been in that situation, so I can't really criticize her that much. But I'm saying she had her downtime, but I think she's getting better. I think she genuinely cares and wants to be better.
For sure, there was a match tonight. It was like a 10-minute match that didn't have a months and months and months of storyline to it. It was a 10-minute match, 2 girls in the ring. I thought it was a good match. That was a really good match.
Yeah. And from what I hear, she's hurt a few people, and she can't really put on a real wrestling match. But I've also heard that we talked about this before. Most of her matches are choreographed.
Yeah, they're gonna keep the kid gloves on her for a while. Training wheels on her out in the ring.
But I think she's green right now. Braun Strowman was terrible, and he's gotten better.
He's gotten a lot better. Yeah,
I've actually grown to really like Braun Strowman a lot, and so I mean, give it a year or two, and she'll probably be at Alana level. No, I'm just kidding. That's a terrible.
Alana, which, by the way, Alana is very pleasant to look at.
She is, and you know what? She's getting slightly better too. Maybe not in the ring, but her character's really developed over time.
I didn't want to delve in. I don't want to because I know how to WrestleCast episode. This is a jam up, but
we could keep with the subject.
Yeah, we just watched that up. We watched that match, so I figured we could at least.
I have one.
Ronda Rousey being a name that everybody knows.
I have one question about her though. When eventually the title's not, she's going to lose, and the title's going to be on somebody else. If she's not in that main event picture like she is now, how do you think she's going to react to it? She's always been
her personally behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a good question.
I think she's pretty respectful about it all.
I think it may be rougher actually on camera because now that she's already at the top, I don't see her in a mid-level women's feud. It's kind of, you know what I mean? I
think she'll always be a top contender for everything. She just might not always be the champ.
No, she shouldn't have to always be the champ, but at the same time, it's hard to, say she loses to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, and then for the next 6 months, she's just in the middle, the next tier of women. It's kind of hard to picture.
Yeah.
Now, how she handles it personally, I don't know. Don't know her at all personally, and if she would actually have an issue with that behind the scenes, no idea. But as far as on camera, it might be interesting. Hard to picture her as Alicia Fox, Carmella, just another chick.
That's why I kind of compare it to the whole Bill Goldberg thing, how he rose to the top so quick. I mean, she was even faster than he was because she already had a name.
Where do you go from there? Yeah. You only go down.
And he only had the WCW title once, correct?
2 times. He got once back later. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that, but
way later in the Russo bullshit.
Yeah, it was almost weird when he lost the belt. It's hard to put him in any other feud besides main event title.
Right, yeah. Once you get so high, nobody else beats you. You win the belt, nobody else beats you, and then maybe one guy beats you. But at that point, you've been accustomed to nobody can beat you.
Right.
And so where do you go from here? I don't know. Like I said, I can't imagine Rousey being just another chick on the roster. It doesn't make sense.
I don't see her losing a push. She's always going to be up there, I think.
Right.
She might even go into that Brock Lesnar territory where you don't see her for a little while. Maybe she'll train for a minute and get better.
That would be the worst idea for her.
Yeah. But
She comes back at he came back at what, Crown Jewel?
Lesnar just came back, the crown.
Yeah,
jewel,
yeah.
won the title again.
I think he appeared on Raw like once or twice before.
Yeah,
that,
which was affected by the Roman Reigns thing.
Yeah. I'm sure they had big plans for Roman Reigns finally having the title, but leukemia shit all over that.
Leukemia will make you change your plans real fast.
Is there
For
a
sure.
status on that at all? Because I
have not heard anything at all. I mean, it's going to be a
neither.
long process. It's kind of all
I think I saw that like he made an appearance at like a football game or something somewhere.
Georgia Tech game.
Yeah,
had
but-
all of his hair and everything. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, but it was just normal Roman Reigns doing a thing. Like nobody really said
Right.
anything about anything.
Even still, good for him.
Yeah. That,
I hate to say it, but when he, after he beats us and he comes back, that might have been what he needed for the fans to get on his side.
Sure,
They're on his side now. For
It
sure.
might have been a blessing in disguise. No, I can't. I hate saying it like that.
No, it wouldn't be
but-
the ideal path.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean,
This might be what the
how,
WWE
how do you
needed.
not cheer for a guy like that?
Exactly.
Exactly.
How do you not cheer for a guy
Oh.
who legitimately has a life-threatening disease, and if he comes on the other side and comes back and competes and performs?
Because he's done it before, right?
Yes,
11
he
years
had-
ago,
Yeah, 11
apparently.
years ago. Yeah.
Right. So you got to give the guy some props and the
No,
guys of
and-
fans, man. Everybody knew how stale he was, and unless he was with the Shield, like nobody liked him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We talked about that on the WrestleCast pod, where it's not a matter of do you like this character, you cheer for him, or do you boo them. Like when this happens, you step back and you go, this is a guy who is doing what he wants to do, and he's entertaining everybody, and he's fighting for his life legitimately.
Yeah.
And like you have to step back and be like, you pull for the individual. There's just no two ways around it. And so if he makes a comeback to wrestling, I mean, yeah, he'll be more over than he ever was before. And like you said, it's not what he wanted, but it's going to happen. I mean, it's what's going to happen.
He's living that real life underdog story right now.
Sure.
And we're kind of living it with him. This definitely, like, as shitty as it may be, this is what put me on the Roman Reigns' side. You know what I mean? Like it made me give a shit about Roman Reigns, which is what I didn't have for the last 3 years. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And they're explaining a little bit on TV with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, which hey, we're gonna watch that tonight. They're explaining that a little bit, but at the same time, man, pro wrestling, why wouldn't you? It's a fake atmosphere, but you can pull real life into it and make people interested. I'm all for it. I'm cool with that.
For sure. It's like any other TV show. You invest in it, you'll enjoy it. But yeah.
And that's what I do. I still love pro wrestling to this day. Like I might not always agree with what they're doing, and sometimes it's more stale, but like just from growing up with it, I can definitely tell it's on the uprise again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, big time, yeah.
And I'm happy. Like I don't want it to ever go away or get in that where was it? 2013. I couldn't even turn the shit on.
Yeah, it was laughable.
Yeah, laughable is correct. It really is. I mean, there was just,
It was a joke.
they put so much content out where there's just not good performers, and there's not good stories, and there's nothing enjoyable. Nowadays, I mean, there's a lot of talent.
This is probably the most talent there's ever been.
And so even when the storylines aren't great, there's still talented guys having the matches. So when the storyline is good, which the Becky Lynch thing is, one that comes to mind.
Becky's killing
Great
it.
storyline and a great performing that storyline where it's like, I want to see more. Every single week I want to see more.
Yep.
That's great. That's awesome. It's awesome for the performers, awesome for the business,
You go back to the Attitude Era, which is where I feel like we all really grew up, and me and you especially. I know you did too. We watched it before that during the Bret Hart and the Razor Ramon days and all that. But like back then, I mean, you're the one that pointed it out to me. Like the Attitude Era was great for what it was, but if you go back and watch, 9 times out of 10 the matches were garbage.
The matches didn't matter.
Yeah.
It just didn't. Nobody cared.
No, it was all story. It was all story and characters, which Val Venus was a really good wrestler.
Yeah.
But didn't matter. He was a good wrestler, and the Godfather was not a good wrestler.
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
No.
None of it mattered.
Back then you could tell by who you needed to care about by what their gimmick was.
Sure.
Like if you're a porn star or you carry around a dummy head, you don't give a shit about this person.
Didn't matter.
But they're entertaining.
Which, if you go back and listen to like Bruce Pritchard's podcast, stuff like that, the funny thing is about WCW versus WWF was WCW by all means, they have the better wrestlers through and through. Of course they did. And they had the better wrestlers on the undercard. They had your Rey Mysterios and your Dean Malenkos and your Benoits and your Guerreros. They were all matches that didn't matter. Meanwhile, over in WWF, you had like the Godwins versus, the Oddities or something where it's awful. Or the DOA versus the Los Boricuas, and it's awful on the undercard. But in the main event was Stone Cold and The Rock, or it was Stone Cold and Taker, or it was Taker and Shawn. And so their top guys gave you bigger main events, whereas WCW was...
The card was better.
Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko was your opener, but the main event was Hulk Hogan and Lex Luger, so now those guys are big names. Those are top stars. But what's a better match? Hulk Hogan and Lex Luger, or Shawn Michaels versus Steve Austin, or Bret Hart versus The Undertaker?
Yeah.
What? So when it came to the top guys who actually delivered in those main events, WWF did. We delivered in your undercards, but the main eventers is what draws. The main eventers is what brings in the money, and so it took a little bit of time. It took 97, 98 for WWF to beat WCW, but they did because they had better wrestlers on top. There were bigger names. There were better wrestlers on top. WCW had better wrestlers on the bottom. They didn't make their names, but then all of them, Jericho, Mysterio,
they were completely
Benoit,
two different shows.
They all end up making their names in WWF, WWE, if it was at the time.
Dude, the first hour of Nitro is some of the best wrestling you'll ever watch.
Oh, it's incredible.
It was fucking amazing.
Because they wanted to back then. That was like Bischoff's strategy. It's like,
he
let's
just
hook get them away from WWE.
Yeah, he wanted to hook you. Yeah, and it was tough to turn away from that.
Yeah,
because it was great wrestling.
Yeah,
I did so much flip. Now I've always was a WWF guy. The only time that I would watch a WCW main event over what was going on in Raw was the Goldberg and Hogan or something.
If you knew it was a big deal, because every other week it was the same old shit. It was an MWO guy versus WCW guy, and the NWO ran out.
Yep.
It was the same old shit. WWF gave you more.
Yeah, that's what WCW was good for. When there was something worth seeing, it was really fucking worth seeing. WWF, most of it was worth seeing, but the main event is what you really wanted to see. WCW, when they did it hard, and they did it.
They gave you Hogan Goldberg on free TV.
If you ran a whole show, especially if you ran a whole show back to back from one week to the other, and you watch it back to back, Nitro was usually better than Raw as a whole. Raw would probably give you a more memorable moment. Yeah. And would give you more with their top guys, something that would be more entertaining. But the matches themselves, WCW was way better.
WWF,
without question,
would save it for the pay-per-view. They'd save all those moments for pay-per-views. They would build up to that pay-per-view. WCW was just like, all right, what can we do this week?
Yeah, most WCW pay-per-views were just basically Nitros because there's so many stars.
Almost like they're only planned a week or two in advance. Yeah. It was crazy.
Do you ever listen to 83 Weeks?
Oh, yeah. That's a great podcast, by the way. Josh hates it because he thinks Bischoff is boring, which, he's a little more boring than Schiavone as far as straight crass entertainment. But if you want the insight of why they were doing it, it's a great podcast.
It's even more insight than Bruce Pritchard. Pritchard was the right-hand man of Vince McMahon.
He was the right-hand man, and Bischoff was the man.
He was the man.
Yeah.
And I would say... Every night I go to bed, listen to a podcast, and that's always the one I pick usually.
Yeah.
I would say 5 out of 7.
Puts you to sleep is what Josh was going to say.
Because it's boring?
No, I'm already tired, but I need some sound before. But there's nights where I'll lay down and I'm an hour into the podcast and I'm like, okay, I really have to go to bed. But I'm so interested in what he's saying and just this. What was it last? This is the newest one maybe I was listening to that
Starrcade 97 was last week.
Was that the Hogan and Sting?
Yeah.
They got into such a big fucking argument. I couldn't go to bed.
Because of Sting not being tan. It was a real thing.
Sting's not tan.
Yeah. Well, Sting was, they put him in the rafters for a year and a half to build this match, and when he got to the show, he wasn't in great shape and he wasn't tan, and you're like, oh yeah, it wasn't tan. It's like, but if you're from Bischoff's point of view, be like, I built you for a fucking year and a half to give you the biggest match ever, and you don't even give a shit.
Sting dropped the ball in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you can blame, the inside bullshit with Hogan and how he was with him and Bischoff's little clique and all that, but what comes down to it, he dropped the ball. Sting dropped the ball on it.
83 weeks. If anybody's listening, man, 83 weeks is a great podcast. If you are an old school wrestling fan, because it is, it's Eric Bischoff telling you exactly this is what was going on to the best of his ability. He doesn't bullshit if he doesn't remember, but he'll say this is what I remember about this, and this is why. And Starrcade '97, which was the biggest pay-per-view of all time for WCW, Sting versus Hogan. He knows exactly what happened and why, and
He's still a little too biased. That's my only problem with that is he's really biased with the NWO because that was his baby.
well, it should be. It revolutionized the business.
It did, but it did for such a short amount of time before the NWO was a fucking joke. It was Horace Hogan and
Everyone was
Scott,
a member at one point.
Yeah, everybody was a member.
You badmouth Scott Norton on this podcast.
Yeah, Scott Norton.
Okay.
Fucking terrible.
Josh is going to shoulder break at you. So.
But I'm just saying it was so bad. Like it got to a point where there was 2 NWOs and it was just
No, that's where
his
the wheels
baby.
off. And it's the thing, 97, actually Starrcade 97, you can call almost on the downfall because they were so hot. They got to this, the easiest thing you ever could have done is just Sting beating Hogan. They didn't do it right.
Yep.
And in 98, still hot. Everything was really hot. But everything kind of...
that was the downfall, yeah.
And to 99 where they never came back.
Whew.
Well, they beat that dead horse deader, man. That shit was. They beat that dead horse.
They were not. WCW was not good at creating stars. Besides Goldberg and Sting, I can't.
I'd say, well, Sting was created even way back there. I'd say Page a little bit. They created Page a little bit.
I kind of feel like Page made it himself a little bit.
Yeah, he took the long way up there. Goldberg was just basically...
I almost think like Diamond Dallas Page was like they gave him such a push because he just wouldn't go away. They're just like fine, throw him in
Diamond
there.
Cutter was
it's kind of
over.
relentless.
Oh,
If you
dude,
saw-
it was awesome. Okay, so they made a couple of stars, Booker T, and
Booker T got made over there.
but
yeah.
they were like the 1990s Yankees, man. They just
Yeah,
got talent.
they just got all the talent, but unlike the Yankees, they never built their own. And once it was done, it was done. Once they all expired, it expired.
Right.
Shit, that's Ted Turner in a nutshell. He just stole everything from WWE essentially, and that's what Bischoff did. Is he essentially just kept taking all their talent?
Yeah, and it worked. It worked for a short amount of time. It's crazy to really think of how short their run was.
That's the insane thing. Was that it still resonates in our minds so fondly.
But it was only like 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years where it was a real competition. They were around before that. They were around a little bit after that. But it was about 3 years. 96, 97, 98 of real competition.
I'll never forget before, it was probably 94, 95, I got some WCW toy. It had all these wrestlers on it, and you used to swing. It was
Yeah, no, I had it too. It was like a little bowling pin looking thing.
Yeah,
You
it was
swung
like a
it, you knocked
bowling
them
thing.
over. There's the Steiners and Sid. And
I remember getting it going, who the fuck are these guys?
I like the Steiners and Sid. I remember the
I didn't know.
I
I didn't know
Yeah.
if they didn't have a run in the WWF at any point in time, because I used to rent all the old WrestleManias and Survivor Series and stuff. They didn't have that. I had no idea. Like Sting, no idea who he was at that time because I never watched. And then it got to a point where I was because it was USA was channel 40 and TNT was
41.
channel 41. So
Yep.
dude, it was literally just
Back
boop
and forth,
boop
back and
boop
forth.
boop boop boop.
Easiest thing you could do.
Yeah, it was great. And I watched from 8 to 9. I watched Nitro. From 9 to 11. I always watched.
It was Raw when we're on to commercial. Go to Nitro.
and then
Yeah.
went back to Nitro, and it was just.
And if Nitro had something that really hooked me, I'd stay with it. But otherwise, I was on
Right.
Raw.
But it's funny because if you talk to other people, I have friends that were just like, you talk to them about WWF at that time, they're like, I was a WCW guy.
Which, by the way, skewed the numbers when they talk about the ratings and stuff. Like why they were both jacked through the roof because people watched both.
Us,
Yeah.
going back and
Because
forth.
everybody watched both.
Yeah.
But both were awesome. I mean, oh man, we need to do a How to WrestleCast Monday Night War.
We do.
Really
We
dig
do.
Can I be invited to
deep.
that?
Dude, I could dive
Yeah.
deep into that.
I say
too.
we because you're here. Yeah, we need to do
Well,
it.
because I've heard Bischoff like deny a lot of the shit that was on Monday Night. Like a lot of the lore behind the Monday Night Wars, he'll deny. He'll be like, no, it wasn't like that at all.
I believe him because if you listen to 83 Weeks, he owns up to a lot of his shit. Where like Conrad Thompson will be like, "What the fuck did you do this?" He'll be like, "I don't know, that sucked," and he'll own up to it. But when like sometimes he'll be like, "What happened here?" He's like, "That's not what happened. Listen, this is why." And it's an amazing podcast because you're like, okay, yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Like, we've all known that lore of this is why they did it. And Bischoff will say, no, this is why we did it. And it didn't work. But, he'll say so, but, like, this is why we did it. And you're like, well, that...
You get the thought process
That's
behind
the
it
guy
once he
who made
explains
the call.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, too, when he explains it like that. Like, I don't know if you saw the table for 3 where it was Bischoff, Pritchard, and somebody
JBL?
else. JBL, yeah.
I heard they all got drunk as shit.
They did, but they didn't really show it on the show, though, but I heard that they did. But just the contrast between Pritchard and Bischoff was just so amazing to see. Like, seeing those two guys next to each other, and... Like, you could tell that at one point they probably didn't like each other very much.
No,
they
didn't. Pritchard said it, like, we all hated Eric on the other side because
Yeah.
he was the devil on the other side. And so when we met him, oh, no, he's an okay guy.
Yeah, well, even that's what I love about Pritchard, too, is he doesn't hold back. He'll tell you straight up and be like, I fucking hated you, dude.
Yeah.
I hated you. But
Pritchard's biggest downfall is if something was, like Bischoff, one of my favorite things about the show is he's like, that sucked. You know, Pritchard will defend something to the very
Pritchard's
end.
a worker. He kayfabes everything and just
cannot. I mean,
no, this is why we did it. Why wouldn't you do that?
Why wouldn't you do that? And it was just like you're thinking in your head like you reverse your mind back to 98 or 99. You're just like, Jesus, I remember how bad that was.
Yeah, defend the oddities, and he does. You know, I watched some of the Rock Bottom pay-per-view and watched the oddities versus the Headbangers. I was one of those like, I'm gonna put on some wrestling so I can fall asleep. Dude, I fell asleep so fast. I did not want to watch the Headbanger, and I like the Headbangers.
Headbangers were great.
I didn't watch the Headbangers versus the oddities anymore. I was out. Yeah. Dunzo.
If it was over though, WWF was not afraid to use. I mean, the oddities were over. Like people popped for them when they came out.
They had a dubbed over entrance because they didn't play the ICP song, but like the whole crowd is going back and forth. Like I mean, like everything was over in '98.
Wow, they don't use the ICP song anymore.
Not on that. I don't know if they used it if the ICP actually came out with them. They didn't on this pay per view, and they did not use the song.
Oh, on that. I thought you meant like now they edit out the ICP.
Well, they edited out on this
over.
pay per view. I don't know if they do it for all of them because ICP didn't come out with them on this show.
Because I don't like ICP, but I know most of the words to the oddity
dumb
song.
did it dumb.
Like I can unscrew my head off and shoot hoop with it. Like he said all kinds of crazy shit. Like I know quite a few of the lines from that song because I had that like they put out the entrance. Music
Yeah, it was on
like,
one of the
CDs
musics. Yeah.
Which we had quite a few of those.
Oh, they were good stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
I remember
that encouraged backyard wrestling to the core.
I remember recently I was watching an ECW pay-per-view on the network, and they used to come out to like real music.
ECW, either they had the licenses or they just didn't give a shit and they ran them anyways because they had Real Enter Sandman and stuff, and Lars isn't going to allow that shit to happen.
No.
But they dubbed over all of it except I can't remember what song it was, but I was like, I don't know if they forgot or somebody didn't edit it right, but you could definitely hear whoever it was music coming out, and I was like, they edited over everybody else's but theirs. So I don't know if they had the rights to it or.
But say maybe it's like a long-standing. Like some contract they had from like 15 years ago.
I have no
like,
idea.
Well, I guess we're in the legal rights of using it. I don't know who fucking knows.
But
have we gone far enough down the wrestling rabbit hole here?
I think
you want to try to get back on course?
You're the guest, so we have a total excuse for.
But
talking
but we could fill up a whole wrestling podcast talking wrestling. We have a sister show, the Ohio WrestleCast, available on iTunes, YouTube, and a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
Way to plug yourself.
Yes, I'm a pro.
We gotta. Dude.
We're on the JAMUP, and I like you guys' show. I want to shoot the shit and maybe throw an alternate opinion on certain things because I'm not a comic book or a video game guy like you guys are. So maybe I can throw an outside opinion on some things. I thought that might be fun.
Yeah. No. Well, we have what else we have written down is doesn't feel like Christmas to you.
It doesn't. Although I did put up my tree. No one can see
it. It's a beautiful tree.
I tried to make it feel like Christmas. It's a black, little tiny pine tree. I liked it because it was black. And the lights are built in. It's like little fiber optic lights and shit.
Well, Mark, Jeff and I probably have
decorations.
We have different opinions on Christmas because we have children. But so we'll let you kind of like start off, man.
Yeah, last show we talked a little bit about that.
Why does it not feel like Christmas?
Probably because I don't have kids. Probably like I did do like a gift exchange thing on Thanksgiving, so I can't say who it is, but so I had to get somebody a gift and shit. But like other than that, like it's not any different than any other day for me. But you guys having kids, I'm sure it's very different. So I mean,
let's hear your take on Christmas. How?
Yeah, no, man, it's feeling. If you say it doesn't feel like Christmas, it does feel like Christmas, and it's not a positive thing. It's a strenuous thing, and
I guess I don't think about it like that.
And my kids my son's 9, my girls are 5. The girls are very much into Santa. My son is hip to it now, but even still, you always I put the pressure on myself of making sure they enjoy it as much as they can. And I know this by now. I know every single year they rip through the presents. It takes 10 minutes tops, and then they're done.
Yeah.
And I have multiple months of stressing of going like, I'd like to get this and this and this for them, but I got to pay this and this and this bill. The bills don't stop.
No.
And so I'll even say I'm going to pay half the electric so I have $100 left to buy this. Like I do that, and they mow through it, and then it's so much stress, and it's done in a heartbeat, right? Yep. But that being said, this whole Christmas season, do my little girls love the Elf on the Shelf? They love it. They love it. I think it's stupid. It doesn't matter what I think. They love it.
Yeah.
They think it's a big deal that the elf is on the shelf. They like having the Christmas tree up. They like the whole deal. So as far as it not feeling like Christmas, I mean, when you have kids, it is. It's different. And like when you can actually bring them joy, it brings you joy. And it's like, I mean, this whole holiday is very, very stressful. It really is. That's why I personally, as just an adult on my own, like Thanksgiving more, because that's just, let's make some food and eat it.
Yeah,
and
very simple.
And let's watch
last time too.
Let's watch football, and this is all good. That's awesome. Christmas isn't for us anymore, man. It's just not.
It's really not. No.
It's really not. If you can get a gift for your loved ones, do it for your parents, your significant other, whatever you can. Give a little something that you're thinking about them. But I mean, really, it's for kids. It's been built for kids.
Yep. Yeah, and like with a significant other, it's a little bit different. But like, I don't have one right now, so it's kind of fucking irritating. But like,
don't sweat it.
But it's less stress though, because now you don't have to worry about.
No, it is, but it's just meaningless. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah. If it is another day for you, you're right. As an adult without children, I mean, I don't know. I guess
it just means everything's closed.
It means everything's closed.
Yeah.
That's an extra.
Like maybe I can get a TV for cheaper on Black Friday or something, which I don't want to fucking do anyway. Well, I do, but I don't want to deal with all the assholes. But that's all it really is for me.
Hopefully, you have a job where you can get a paid off day at work.
Actually, this is the first time Marianne Donuts has ever gave me a Christmas bonus.
Well,
it was
there
only
you go.
$25, but still, that's an extra $25.
You didn't have
got
before,
it over
right?
that 100 mark.
I look at it that way. I get paid for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, so I literally have 16 hours of free money.
Nice.
If that's all that Christmas is to me, that's not that bad. That's not the worst thing I've ever heard of.
Chances are I'll work on Christmas.
I am working at a school right now part-time, so take away, the kids and loved ones. What Christmas means to me is I get 2.5 weeks off.
That's true. That was probably one of my favorite things about Christmas when I was a kid, is that I got so much time off.
Yeah, I get all that. I mean, yeah, I don't get paid for it, and that sucks. But it's a nice little break to look forward to. And I start on this Thursday coming up. I'm good to go. But
nice.
To go back what you said, how stressful it is, and it is, man. Like I don't even know what date is. 16.
You never feel like you've done enough.
Exactly, but I feel like today I got done with Jordan. I still have to get Rachel some things, but this is the earliest I've ever gotten done with getting Jordan stuff. So I'm really happy about that, and it's a little less stressful, but it's all worth it once you see how excited she is. She rips open something stupid like a Polly Pocket thing, and she just you can tell she just loves it. Oh my god!
By the way, Jordan's amazing. She is the best. She sells the gifts that she gets. At her birthday party was the best thing ever. Every single gift, she was like, "Oh my god, look!" Like, she made you feel so good about every single gift.
It's a coloring book.
Yeah. She sells it to the. She's the best kid ever.
If you doubt if a kid will like a present that you get them, just give it to Jordan.
Give it to Jordan. She will show appreciation.
Even if it's something like she totally doesn't want, like you think.
Oh,
Didn't
What if
matter.
I gave her like a
Did
brick?
not matter. She loved it.
It's
she
a
was,
brick.
She
oh my
would.
God.
She was happy.
If it say you painted a brick, she would be like, "Oh my God, look at the colors."
That's awesome.
Yeah, she
That's a good kid
Jordan
right
does
there.
Christmas. She loves it. But yeah. So I asked this to Mark last time, and we kind of mine was the Bat Cave. Yours was a TV, which was a great story, by the way.
Yeah, which actually made me think like one day we should do like another version of that, like best birthday gifts or something like that. But
What is your most memorable Christmas gift you got?
Nintendo 64, and it
Nice.
was at my dad's house, and we did every other week where we would go over there, and my dad got a Nintendo 64, and not saying by any means this was the intention, but that was like we couldn't wait to go back to dad's house to play Nintendo goddamn 64.
You get any games
and
with
play GoldenEye and to play WCW and W Revenge.
And
Nice.
Yeah, we could not wait to get over there. My dad would play GoldenEye with me and Josh. Yeah, that was the best gift. You know,
They should fucking remaster GoldenEye.
They
really
did.
yeah,
should.
because the
They
stock
did.
grade, if you
They-
play it today, I'll tell you that.
they did. I had it for the PS3. They remastered it.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, and it looks like really good.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
tell you
shit,
the
I'm
most
looking at-
disappointing one, which I feel bad for, my mother, who I'm not even on great terms with, but I still feel bad for her because it was the one thing I wanted more than anything in the world was, do you guys remember the electronic football gimmick? The big thing was like a table about this long,
Yep.
and it did the shaky zzz.
Yeah, the little dudes.
Yeah, so you put all the stickers on the guy, and you had the fling little thing for the football, and like, if you look at it in a picture, it looked like the coolest thing you've ever seen. In execution, oh god, it was awful. And and we got that one year, and I think it was close to $100, and
It's basically just a little vibrating table.
yeah, and they just vibrated the little dudes along, and like it was awful.
It was for your imagination.
You had to set that thing up for multiple minutes just to run each play. It sucked.
But she tried. That's
She did. That's what I'm saying. That's the one I feel the worst about because we probably played that like one time, the day day after Christmas, and it was just like we're not playing this anymore.
How many arguments did Josh get into with you? How many arguments did Josh start playing Nintendo 64 with you? Unlimited, like infinite.
Unlimited.
More
still arguing
with
about it.
you than with me, I'm sure. And we'll get AJ Leisure as a special guest on our podcast at some point to talk some of his arguments.
Yeah, I was a real son of a bitch, wasn't I?
No, we played like the WCW game and stuff like that. Like he kind of accepted his role as little brother, and then when we played GoldenEye, like my dad was actually the jabroni. Like we let him be odd job and everything. So no, Josh wasn't bad just with me, but with all of us and with AJ, that was a different story.
Yeah, because the thing about it is Josh has always been a little bit smarter than me, and when we were that age, we were what 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah, you guys were like 10, 11, 12. And
Josh
like
understood
14, 15,
the hierarchy. The older kids could kick the shit out of you, so you just kind of followed. You stuck to your role. Me, being me, was like
You and AJ was a whole different, mindset.
so. AJ was my neighbor, and he was like my best friend when nobody else was around. But if somebody was around, I was the fucking punching bag. So Jerrod, they move or they're over
And
there.
AJ
all
was a
summer.
little brother. So Sammy was older than this. So AJ
Yeah.
was the little brother, but he was 4 years older than Jeff. So Jeff got the abuse, and then
Okay. So
and
he
then
took advantage of
as
that.
Josh says the hierarchy. I'll let Jeff finish the story, but yeah. So when Josh moves out there, and then I move out there, and me and AJ are friends. But I'll let Jeff finish the story.
So I would literally they would start picking on me and Josh, right? And Josh knew his role. He took it like a man, and I would always fight back, which was stupid. And then Josh got the bright idea, well, if they're doing it, I'm going to join in on Jeff too. So it was 3 against 1. I was always getting my ass kicked or made fun of.
Look, Jared, Mo and Ron.
Yeah. So the one time I'll never forget it. AJ used to push me into this fucking hill. That was my hill.
Jeffy's Hill.
I would walk over the hill, and he would throw me into the hill because that was my punishment.
Okay.
Well, one time he tried, and I reversed it, and I threw him into the hill. And then I pushed him onto his car, and that was – you don't do that to AJ's car.
This is a nice car.
He beat the living piss out of me in
Wow.
front of everybody. I mean, he kicked the shit out of me. And you're thinking, Jared's my cousin, Josh is my cousin. They just sat there and watched. They didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You threw him into the hill and threw him into his car. That was your battle.
I thought I was winning that fight.
You won the fight for a minute.
I did. But, yeah, so that was how it went.
You also tormented his dog.
I did not.
You did torment his dog.
What'd you do to his dog, Jeff?
Story goes, I don't remember
Here we go.
that they had a fence in their backyard, a chain link fence.
Yeah, chain link fence wrapped around their pool, which is on top of Jeffy's hill.
Okay.
So from what I've heard is I've always taken a stick and ran it across the fence to piss the dog off.
Okay.
And the dog would bark at you, you know. She hated me. And then I just kept doing
By the way,
it.
this dog was not mean to anybody else.
But me.
Yeah, the dog. This is legit. The dog was a big.
Jeff was fucking with the
Me
dog.
and Josh would come over. She'd just be a sweetheart. You pet her. If Jeff came over, there would be growling. That's legitimate. Yeah.
My next question is, who was shitty to who first? Were you shitty to the dog with the stick, or did the dog hate you from the very beginning?
Well, I imagine it was me because
Okay. That makes more sense. That makes perfect sense.
because I really thought before they came in the picture, I just thought Gretchen was the
a
meanest
mean
fucking
dog.
dog in the world.
She wasn't.
And then I'll never forget the one day I walk in AJ's house. He always used to have to put it out in the fence when I came over.
Yeah.
Or the dog would kill me. I walk in thinking I own the place, and the dog is just standing there, and I'm just like, and I ran outside, and that pissed the dog off some more. Oh, it was just bad.
Yeah, you
Bad
don't run
news.
from a dog.
No, I
Yeah,
did.
do not run from the dog.
You hold your ground, man.
And then one time AJ locked me up in his room, and he let Gretchen in just to torment me. And I wouldn't leave the
Gretchen
room.
was scratching outside. The dog did hate Jeff. That's not a lie. Yeah. Why the dog hate Jeff is up to Jeff to interpret for you, but
Probably
the dog did
Jeff.
hate Jeff.
Yeah.
Fuck that dog.
Well, you outlived her. So,
did.
you
Fuck
win.
her.
You win this round.
Yeah. And then they got to my dog. They were both German shepherds. They got so old that they used to kick the shit out of each
Yeah,
other.
they hated
all
each
the time.
other.
Oh, really?
2 female German shepherds.
Always. I mean, they would be.
And Gretchen was bigger, but Shadow had spunk.
Yeah, Shadow was a fighter. She would usually win the fights, but they got to the point one time they were so old, and literally I'm like sprinting because Gretchen got out, and they just looked at each other and walked away. I was like, "Yep,
We're done with this
We're
shit."
done. We're not fighting anymore. Fuck
Wow.
this." But yeah, so that's how.
I remember Shadow. I remember one time I went over to your house. I think it was me, you, Jackie, Todd Patterson, Josh. You might have been there, but we played football.
On the front
And,
yard, yep.
It was a good football field.
Somebody, I got tackled or I tackled somebody or something. I don't know. I was getting up off the ground, and Shadow would not stop humping me.
that sounds like
Shadow
Shadow.
just mounted me up, and like any time that I was on the ground, Shadow ran over and tried to mount me up. I'm like,
Shadow's younger days, she tried to hump you, and then her older days was just get in the way. Was just kind of mosey and just like playing that senile card. Like, yeah, I'm just out here walking the middle of your pass play. I don't give a shit.
The best was we'd be playing football, the three of us in the front yard, and we'd hear a car just lay on its horn, and we'd be like, "What the fuck?" And we'd look, and Shadow's just standing in the middle of the road,
Giving
Actually-
no shits.
no shits at all.
I
Like,
can
"Eh."
remember riding with like my mom or my sister or something down Waynesburg, and Jackie and your mom were walking down the road, and Shadow was just in the middle of the road. My mom's getting pissed, like, "Get the fucking dog out of the road!"
Nope. Somehow she didn't get hit, but you know,
Luckily, my mom's a nice lady.
Yeah, she
I was
never
like,
darted
"Yeah,
in front of
Shadow."
anybody. She was just moseying.
she just was there. Oh man,
The good old days, man.
Old days.
We always go down memory lane every episode.
Yep.
That's easy
Well,
to do.
Christmas kind of brought that back. So Nintendo 64, that's a really good one. Mine was a Batcave my dad got me when I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
And his was a TV his dad.
a surprise TV.
You got a
that-
TV? Did you get it in your room?
Yeah, it was that big 32-inch.
So you got a TV in your room at that age, man? You were balling.
Yeah, it was probably like 9 or 10. Yeah.
And he had to pay $1 for it.
Yeah, like my dad did it in a way that I didn't know what I was getting. He just gave me $1. He was like, "Take this to Kmart." It was Kmart, not Walmart. I remember saying Walmart.
So he let you pay the last dollar
Yeah.
on the TV.
Like I
too.
said, like if it was a $300 TV, he paid $299 for it. He just gave me $1 for Christmas. I'm like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Take it to Kmart. You'll be surprised what you can get for $1." Like, I totally fucked the story up in the last one too. I told like 2 different versions of it, realizing later.
It's
that
still
it
a
was
good story.
But no, that's basically in a nutshell what happened. But yeah, that was my favorite Christmas gift.
Do you got a least favorite Christmas gift, or you got a regrettable Christmas gift like I have with the electric football?
Fuck, I don't know.
That's a good question.
That is a good, like, I mean,
everybody
shitty
had the
Christmas
clothes. You press the box and it was soft. You got the clothes, which here's the thing. Girls, so we're all a bunch of dudes on this. Girls love it. Girls love it.
Yeah.
And so like it's so easy to be like, oh, my girls need this and this and this clothes wise. I just make it for Christmas.
Yeah.
Dewey hates it, so I'm gonna give him a fucking pair of jeans because he needs one and fuck him anyway. But he's getting a pair of jeans. But like boys hate it. Girls love it. I'll tell you this much right now. Little girls love getting clothes for Christmas. It's
My
easy.
least favorite was, I remember my mom, I was really into baseball at the time, and it was kind of like the electronic football that you were talking about. On paper, it looked like an awesome deal. So she's like, I'm going to get you a pitching machine so you can practice, because I didn't have any people that could play with me or anything. So on the box, it was this baseball came out, shot out, and you'd hit it, right? Well, when we got it out of the box, it looked really small, and then you put the ball in, and literally it would shoot it out about 3 feet. So, and there was no way to turn it up or anything. So that was probably my least favorite gift. I was so let down by that.
oh shit. See, that kind of reminds me of something. I this probably isn't the worst, but this is the one that comes to mind. I remember this was like Lion King was in theaters, right?
Right.
And I wanted Lion King, but it wasn't out yet. So my dad bought me this like cheap, like knockoff movie called The Jungle King.
Only Phil would know how
Yeah.
to find a knockoff Lion King
And
out
he's
there.
just like, here, take this. And the movie wasn't terrible, but it was nothing like Lion King. Like nothing. Like
It's a letdown, yeah.
these were like
we had
animals that dressed as people and shit and lived in like medieval times. Like he was literally a Lion King. Like, but it was called The Jungle King. And it was a silly ass movie, but that's probably the worst ever because it's like
probably the same people that made Zoobly Zoo.
Fuck, don't you badmouth Zoobly Zoo in front of me.
I will.
You son of a
motherfucker.
bitch. I love Zoobly Zoo. I was part of the
Suck.
Zoobly Zoo
Fuck
fan
that
club.
Fuck.
Van Gogh the Lion. He has a great name. Yeah, man, I like Zoobly Zoo.
Fuck
Don't
that show.
I will elaborate further on Zoobly Zoo, except for the few people that do listen and watch this are going to tune out now because nobody knows about Zoobly Zoo.
It was a fucking. It was like a stage act, right? It was the same thing. People dressed up as animals.
Yeah, they dressed up as animal characters and everything was on like a stage, but
see, this wasn't like this was a legitimate cartoon. But,
oh,
like, it
okay,
was
yeah.
just-
No, Zoobly Zoo had people in costumes.
yeah.
It's fucking terrible.
Don't you stop it! Stop it right now.
I've never heard of that. Probably for good reason.
Magic and wonders are waiting for you.
Is that a song from the
Yeah,
movie?
Zoobly Zoo, man.
Probably my least favorite things in this world are like Relish, Edge, and Zoobly Zoo.
Randy
Edge,
Foye.
the wrestler?
Yeah.
Randy
Edge is your-
Foye.
is your second.
Randy Foye's number 4 because didn't he brick a dunk or something?
Yeah, you want to hear a Randy Foye story? You don't know Randy Foye. Randy Foye is not important because he's a very not good point guard shooting guard that didn't last in the league a long time, right? He maybe like 5-6 years.
Okay.
But so me and Jeff are playing NBA 2K at our Constitution apartment, which by the way could be a whole podcast in our own.
Oh, that's a
Constitution
good one.
stories.
we
yeah.
should do that then.
Yeah. But we're playing NBA 2K, and I beat Jeff more times than not in that one, right? And so Jeff has a chance to win the game. He's down 1. He's got this guy, Randy Foye, who is wide open to take it home, to dunk it home with 3 seconds left. And, I mean, in a video game, there's something you do about this, right? He goes up for the dunk, and boom, the ball bounces out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I win that game. All right, so that's half the story. It's not the better half of the story. That could happen.
Okay.
The next game we play, and I swear to you I didn't try this.
Yes, he did.
Randy Foye, we did like 8-minute quarters, in NBA 2K, and Randy Foye can't miss a shot. He's on my team. I play with Randy. He doesn't miss a shot. He's hitting every 3. Jeff would close out for the 3. I just take it to the hole. All of a sudden, Randy Foye is over 100 points against Jeff. It was the biggest whooping there ever was in an NBA game. I finished with 119 points in an NBA 2K game with the guy
Randy fucking
who
Foye.
just ricked the dunk. And it wasn't like a LeBron story of like LeBron went to take it home and the game made him brick. No, it was just a random guy.
Wow.
And Randy Foye to this day is a Jeff Hughes enemy, as well as Nate Kaeding.
Nate Kaeding can suck it too.
I don't know who any of these guys are, but I understand your hate.
I had
for them.
to win the game, I had like a, 46-yard field goal
It
or
was
something?
less than 50. It was like 45 to
It
50.
was like 45 to 50-yard field goal to win. Nate Kaeding, which got what was it? Big Ten Kicker of the Year.
Yeah.
Was a pretty decent kicker his first couple
Very
years.
good kicker.
And
There
Madden,
wasn't
a
wind
40
against you.
And 45 yards in Madden is nothing, right? I kick it perfect, straight
Perfect.
down, full max
Yep.
power,
Didn't miss
everything.
nothing.
I go, that's the game. And it was like 8 yards
Yep.
short.
Didn't even come close.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't even
It was
come
like
close.
a
I don't
glitch in
know
the game.
shit.
We're like, what
I know
the
that's bad.
fuck?
Jerrod wins again.
Wow.
That's what happened.
All right, I understand your disdain.
Fuck these stories.
I'm not a Madden guy anyway, or a football guy by
Jeff,
any means,
Jeff
but
to
I
this
get
day
that.
hates Nate Kaeding, hates Randy Foye. Talk to Josh about Terry McDaniel sometime. That'll be another story for another
All
day.
right.
That's an old Oakland Raiders quarterback.
We'll get Josh on here and we'll ask him
Yeah.
about it.
It'll be pissed off. Josh is the best.
Oh, and Danny Ainge. Oh, Danny Ainge is the best. That was a Tecmo NBA basketball from 1991. You there?
Wow.
That's a foul. You there? That's a foul.
Everything. If you got called for anything out of bounds,
Yeah.
Foul.
Yeah. Talk to Josh about Danny Ainge sometime. That'll be another story for another day.
I'll keep that in mind. Shit.
All right, man. I see your last topic over there.
Yeah.
I figure we might as well address it. We might as well take it home with a good
yeah,
topic.
let's take it home with this one because
Right.
we talked about this pretty long
What
last
was it?
time.
Was it
I
three
watched-
weeks ago?
I watch every one of your podcasts. I didn't watch this last one. I didn't want to hear about it.
Well, House of Hughes.
House of Hughes.
Beer, video games, and buffalo chicken happened. What I think it was 3 weeks ago.
3
now.
or 4 weeks, yeah.
And Jerrod had a really good night until about what? What would you say? Like
9:30.
9:30, 10.
Oh no, it was 11.
No, it was not.
It
It
was
was 11.
It was between 10 and 11 probably, because I went to bed at midnight and you had been out for a couple hours. I think it was 12:30 when I went to
We
sleep.
started drinking early.
That's true.
Hit heavy.
But
So
And
this is
heavy.
okay. Before Jerrod gets into his side of it, this is the recap on it. Was we couldn't find Jerrod. I knew Jerrod was about done for when we were playing baseball, and we were all loud and cheering.
I had done well in beer pong all night. I played the most beer pong games.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I made it to the finals in both tournaments.
he cut a hell of a promo.
Great
with
Bret
our
Hart
Breeze.
promo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I remember we were all every shot there would be like a little and then the one time somebody missed a shot and Jerrod was like and nobody else did. We're all just like, oh, Jared's about done for.
I don't remember that.
So we all were looking for Jerrod. So we're looking everywhere. Couldn't find him anywhere.
Josh eventually gets on the live stream and just like declares to the world like, Jerrod Griffiths, where are you? Has anybody seen Jerrod?
I said, fuck it. I'm done looking for Jerrod. So I went in my bathroom and I'm taking a piss. And I hear snoring. So I'm like, that dumb son of a bitch fell asleep in my shower. I opened the curtains real quick. Nothing's in there. I looked around the corner. No. And then I hear, yep, we found him.
Yeah.
Take it from
eventually.
there, Jerrod.
Oh, okay, so here's the thing. Short story, I was drunk as fuck.
As was everybody.
Slightly longer story. Listen, I was in the finals on the beer pong game, so I drank more beer there. I was in the finals of the team beer pong game, and then we did play baseball, and I was drinking the whiskey like an asshole. So those all happened. So here's what happened. So you and Josh were playing Rampart, and I was waiting to play the next game. And then after the game, you guys we were out of beer because we drank a lot of beer.
We went through
So
cases
yes.
of beer.
Yeah, I forgot
So-
you guys went on a beer
So
run.
yeah, so this is what happened. This is what I wanted to try to explain to you. Because believe it or not, I remember every last second before I fell asleep. I actually remember this. So I was ready to play the next game of Rampart. Josh and Jeff both said they were like, "Well, we're out of beer. We gotta get more beer." So what is the worst thing that can happen when you're drinking heavily? Is to stop.
Yeah.
Is to stop everything. And at that point, it was just me, Josh, and Jeff in the back room playing video games. They're gone. And I'm sitting in this chair kind of going like, what is my next spot? That's literally what's going through my head. And I'm like, I could play video games. I'm like, I don't want to play video games myself. I go out there with you guys, but I'm like, I don't really want to drink right now. This is all going through my brain. And I see this back goddamn corner in your basement by the washer and dryer, thinking to myself, I've seen a pillow. And that was it. I didn't have a blanket. I seen one pillow.
Oh, you did. You had a blanket, but keep going.
Okay, but so I see this back there, and I think to myself, I'm like, they're going to go get beer. If I just go and like rest my eyes for like 20 minutes, I'll be fine. Which is incorrect. Which anybody
Yeah.
who's not completely pissed drunk knows is incorrect. If you fall asleep, you are done. So that is my thought process. Is that we have stopped. The activities have stopped. If I close my eyes for 20 minutes, I will get up and we'll party all goddamn night. That did not happen. No, I went back into that little cubby behind the washer and dryer.
The worst possible spot in my house to fall asleep in.
No, I thought it was a good spot. Nobody fucked with me. I was buried away.
That's because we couldn't fucking find you.
Yeah, that was the idea. If I fell asleep in front of everybody else, you guys would come out and fuck with me. So I was like, I'm just going to go back here and fall asleep, and I'll get back up when they come back with more beer, and everything will be fine. I'm telling you, that's my thought process.
No, I believe that.
But that's my drunken thought process. Once I hit the ground, I was done. And then what I do remember is Rachel like covering with a blanket. I looked at her and going like, I'm sorry, I was bored.
So Rachel did give you a blanket.
Rachel gave me a blanket.
Me and Jeff decided that we were all assholes.
Rachel gave me a blanket, and I did. I woke up and I looked at her and I said like, because I realized at that point like I was slept too long. I'm like, I'm sorry, I was bored, and that was the truth. I sat there in that chair for a couple of minutes, like thinking of my next step, and I'm pissed drunk. I'm not sitting here like very rationally thinking, but I'm like, I can play video games to the back. I can come out with you guys, but I'm really drunk, and I'm like, I just. Because you stop and you get all that alcohol, like kind of like, and I'm done.
So
once you become aware of it, you're kind of
what really happened.
So I was aware enough to think like, I want to lay down.
Here's what really happened. The beer run lasted all of 6-7 minutes because BP is right by my house.
Yeah, they were back pretty quick.
Too long.
I remember me, Josh, and Jared Parsons going, okay, let's go. And I was like, okay. I got to find my shoes. This is my own house. I have 20 pairs of shoes. I couldn't find any shoes, so I went on the beer run in my socks.
So you were not sober either?
No, not at all.
No.
So
Jared
I'm walking
Parsons
through.
Probably was the only one that was.
I was walking through BP with my socks, and nobody seemed to notice that. So that was kind of funny. But we get back, and we find you're passed out, but you did have a blanket. You used a 2x3 shower rug as a blanket.
A bath mat, dude.
A bath mat.
Well, that was what was nearby then, yeah.
It was so funny because your body was curled up, and it looked like a napkin on top of you.
See, the thing is, I'm the one who found you. I went into that, I guess, back room or side room.
You go to the back room where the video games were, where you had the TV, and then you had to go back behind the washer and dryer.
Yeah, you were way off in the corner.
Yeah, I stowed myself away.
Right next to the door, which is almost in the opposite
I wasn't trying to fuck with nobody.
So I'm just getting in that fridge, grabbing, like, me and Jeff or whoever a beer at that point, and I just hear snoring, and I'm like, what the fuck? Start looking around, and then I see two little legs sticking out from behind the washer, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I walk over there. You didn't even... Like, either you had it and I didn't notice, but I don't think you even had the bath mat at that point. Because the only reason I knew it was you is because
Rachel must have covered me with a bath mat, because I think I took something to lay my head on.
You covered yourself with a bath mat.
Yeah. Okay. So you like I said, unless I completely missed the bath mat, but I'm pretty sure I would have saw it. I think you at some point grabbed the bath mat and put it on after I actually found you.
Did. And then Mother Rachel gets home and almost makes me feel bad for not giving you a blanket. And I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck am I supposed to do?
I was so drunk. I thought about it too, and you brought that up on the last podcast. I was like, wow, nobody did give him a blanket. I was like,
I didn't deserve a blanket. I'm not mad about that. If you're the first one passing out, you don't deserve a blanket.
The best was you were telling Earl Breezy better bring the 06 Earl Breeze back.
Oh, well, first of all, if Earl Breeze would have been worth a shit in beer pong, he would have drank as much beer as I did. And he did.
Earl Breeze was
if he would have played
drunk.
beer pong like Dan Begg, he would have been sober all night. So I'm sorry that I played beer pong legitimately and won a bunch of games and drank a bunch of beer.
You
killed
miss
it,
my freak out at the end of the night.
I did miss your freak out. Josh told me all about it in the morning.
Too,
yeah, it sounded like a blast.
And then
why didn't somebody bust out their phone and film that shit?
Because Jeff Hughes can't win a game at his house. Josh said that you've played some more games over at your house and you still can't win.
Play me, you'll win.
Unless
it's Flip Cup.
I beat him in Rampart. We literally had a best of 7, and it was just one of those Rampart days where you didn't know what battle you're on, what was going to win.
We should do a live pod of everybody playing Rampart and just
Let's do it.
Somebody maybe trying to tell us what the fuck the rules are, because we don't know.
With that thing that I'm about to get, we could totally stream us playing.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
so.
we still don't know the real rules.
So
we played a lot.
What would you rank House of Hughes Party? Was it a pretty good one?
House of Hughes Party is at 8.5 out of 10.
I think that's fair.
That's fair. That's definitely fair.
And you got to leave room to improve for next year.
Yeah, next year will be even better
for sure.
And actually, we're going to do a diaper party for Zach. So
I was going to say, do you have some news for us? But no, okay, Zach, it's not news.
no.
But,
No news here.
We're gonna do a diaper party for my buddy Zach. He doesn't know about it yet, but
and he's not going to know because he's a dick and doesn't listen to your pod.
He will on Tuesday
So
if he watches it.
he doesn't.
But so we're gonna do that all over again. All you gotta do is bring a
Case of diapers
Yeah,
and
a little pack of
there's
diapers.
going to be beer and food provided.
Yep.
I like
Nice.
it. It's a great idea.
So with that, I think
Can I
that's-
wear a diaper?
Absolutely.
You guys watch Undergrads?
No.
No.
We maybe have to find this one episode where they have an all-you-can-drink episode, and one of the characters, Rocco, has an adult diaper on. We're like, how do you do it? And he drops his pants, has an adult diaper on. It's, love me! It's Undergrads is a classic show, and so yes, if you want to wear a diaper for the diaper party, you could save.
I think we all should.
You could save yourself some time for bathroom trips.
Am I allowed to shit myself?
Absolutely.
Now, see, that I
Awesome.
wouldn't recommend, but you can.
Nah,
No, I
think
probably won't.
It adds
It's good
to
to
it.
know that I
You can
can't.
do whatever you want.
But
Maybe I will.
I think with that, that's pretty much.
Man,
ready to
this has
wrap.
been a good episode.
Yeah.
It really has been. This is one of the best episodes
Our
we've done
first
in a while.
guest.
This has got to be the longest
Is
one.
it our
I'm
first
pretty
guest?
sure.
No, our first guest.
JAMUP.
Did we have we had a guest or is
No.
he our first guest?
I
Tons
was
of
a
guests
guest
on
on
the
the
Ohio
WrestleCast.
WrestleCast.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we're not good enough to do it on our own.
Yeah, you were our first guest. No, Jerrod was our first guest. My brother.
Oh, that's right.
Very first episode.
Your brother was.
So it's
So-
been 17 more episodes till then. to get
Till
you guys.
another Jared.
No. Wow.
This
Wow.
Jerrod.
How weird is that?
So
Andy's related to you as opposed to related to me. Crazy. But yes, that was Jam Up number 18 with special guest Jerrod Griffiths, a.k.a. Wilbur
And we
Whitlock.
left off with like 5 things where we said, like, we could do a full podcast on this.
let's do it again.
We probably will, too.
Gladly.
I'll write them all down as I edit. Yeah, that was Jam Up number 18. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. For the audio listeners, we do a video version of this at youtube.com/MattArcherMedia. For anybody watching this, you can listen to it all over the damn place. iTunes,
I
Apple
do
Podcasts.
iTunes.
Yeah, Google
I
Play,
do
apparently.
Google Podcast.
Podcast, there you go.
Stitcher.
Castbox, Stitcher, pretty much damn near anywhere they provide podcasts. If they don't, let us know and I'll figure it
let's
out.
try to get on Spotify.
Yeah, I think there's a couple
Let's
requirements that I should.
Okay, yeah, let's make that the goal.
Yeah, because Spotify
Get some Matt Archer Media on Spotify.
Yeah, I'll work on that, people. If anybody's got any suggestions, let me know.
Spotify's pretty big right now. So.
Yeah, I listen to music on Spotify
I
when
do.
I like shower and shit. So, but shower and shit
You do both.
in that order.
Yeah.
I shower then I shit.
If you do them at the same time, we have a new podcast to talk about. Yeah.
You just
okay.
gotta
Maybe I
stomp
will.
it down the drain. You know?
yeah, just
And
let
then,
the water
and
run
then
on it.
wash your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, scrub them real good.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Anybody that's interested, there's t-shirts available at mattarcher.threadless.com. We're on Instagram at Matt Archer Media. Jeff Hughes is also on Instagram and Twitter at Jeff Hughes MMA.
Jeff Hughes MMA.
Jerrod Griffiths over there is not.
I don't believe in Instagram or Twitter, but you can follow me on Facebook, Jerrod Griffiths or Wilbur Whitlock from a fan page. I'll be at an independent show near you soon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I hope next time I have some fight news for you guys.
That's true. That's true. Now listen, Jeff Hughes, MMA fighter, UFC contracted. Today, this show, do you have any news for us? Or should we...
Stay tuned is all I can say.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Wink. Wink, wink. All right. For the people listening, I was winking.
You
But
said
all
wait.
right.
It was not subtle.
I know I said it like 4 times.
We should, how do we end this show? Like this.
Oh, yeah. And until next time.
Hogan must pose.
Hogan must pose, brother. Bye, Internet.